Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the GDPSports High School Football broadcast. Tonight's game is brought to you by the following sponsors. Frost, more than a century of serving Texans and now in the Frost Tower. Central Builders, the Ehrlich family is dedicated to the construction industry with coast-to-coast projects. The law firm of Thomas J. Henry, open 24 hours with legal experts on call. John Lester's Insure One, providing Texans with home and auto protection. By Randolph Brooks Federal Credit Union, a credit union that puts people before profits. By APIA Connected Investors, Shannon DeLon, providing insurance for real estate investors. BCFS, a beacon of hope for families around the world. Remax, by Chris Collins, buying or selling a dream home in the real estate world. GPS of Texas, peace of mind for all drivers with installed tracking devices. Dr. Eric Kuhl, providing that $1 million smile with a future of dental health. By Gridiron Heroes, dedicated to assisting young men suffering from football-related spinal cord injuries. Cherry Hills Baptist Church, where the Lord provides the football field for eternity. By Mecca Sportswear, supplying the leather jacket of pride for your school and sport. Eagle Print, where San Antonians take their printing for quality and satisfaction since 1974. Also brought to you by one name that stands out in the San Antonio rental car business, Budget Car and Truck Rental on Sandow Road just east of 281 North.
Good evening, everyone. Under a speckled sky of cloud fragments, our Fortress football tonight is Hero Stadium, and on this Friday evening, in a September to remember, the two schools involved in this district challenge are much better than their non-district record indicates. The Reagan Rattlers of Linden Hamilton have lost two of their first three contests, but they have been without the services of starting quarterback Travis Staley, who had an injury carried over from his stellar baseball career and it had to heal. They operated with a tough loss to open with a tough loss to Brennan, and then were out tough game after that as they battled the Steel Knights, and then had to come from behind last week to brand the Buffaloes of Clemens. So they are 1-2, but still ranked in the city's top 10. They're ranked 9th in the Express News poll, so those two losses didn't really hurt the prestige. For the Jaguars of Ron Ritterman, they are also one of the best teams in town, and they are also 1-2 after 3 games of battling 3 teams that provided their learning experience and prepared them for the 27 6A district chase. As we look at other things tonight, the Jags open with a loss to the city's second-ranked team, Brandeis, of course. That was the opener here that we carried on GDP Sports. They held off the Rattlers of San Marcos and then let victory slip between their paws when the New Braunfels Unicorns came back from the Animal Farm to win in the closing quarter last week. Ty Reeser and Justin Rodriguez are the big cats on offense, as they have been impressive in the first 3 contests. Rodriguez has been averaging almost 6 yards per carry in his 55 totes of the pigskin. We welcome you to our September soiree with a festive atmosphere here at Heroes. Coach Ritterman says we expect a big crowd tonight. Chase Holly, Mark Witherell, and Rob Hicks will comprise our crew as we're short-handed tonight. We want to provide you a bird's-eye view of this initial district contest in 27-6-5A. Rather, 6A. We are glad to have you with us on this beautiful Friday night. It's windy and it's humid, and it's really a warm night for this late in the year, but we hope to have a cool evening here in the press box to keep you informed. We'll return with interviews, lineups, and commentary after we hear from our benefactors. This is Frost High School Football.
The most important team member isn't always playing in the game. Sometimes they hold a clipboard on the sideline. A good coach doesn't just call plays. They instill confidence in the individual and help the team overcome adversity. At Frost, we believe that good coaching in your financial life can accomplish the same thing. After all, if we believe in you and you believe in you, anything is possible. Frost. Opt for optimism.
APIA specializes in real estate investor insurance. For years, investors have struggled managing individual insurance policies. So APIA built a program to put investors' properties under one insurance policy. They've been helping investors save time and improve cash flow nationwide since 2001. APIA has the flexibility to meet the unique demands of both investors and financial institutions. Call in the real estate asset protection experts today, www.apiaprotects.com, or call 877-752-2742.
Hello everybody, I'm Chase Hawley, and we're glad to have you along on our Pigskin Parade tonight and this opening night on the stage of My Fair Football. It will feature the gridiron players of Larry Bird Johnson and Ronald Reagan High Schools, and we expect a typical game that is common to District 26-6A. Ron Ritterman is attempting to find that missing magic so obvious in the playoff run the past several seasons. The Jaguars have speed in the legs of Justin Rodriguez and experience in the mind of quarterback Ty Reasoner, but they don't have a lot of size up front, plus they are starting 4 juniors in the offensive line. Jaron Randall, son of assistant coach Keith Randall, has sprouted to a height of 6'3", and he has some speed if he can get into the open field as a receiver. For the Mean Green of Reagan, Coach Lyndall Hamilton begins his 3rd season as the snake handler, and he's had tough cleats to fill after Coach David Wetzel left to become top assistant coach for the Baylor Bears. With Stanley back under center at 6'3", he has a good view of the field, and with an offensive line as large as fleet of Humvees, he should be able to find an open receiver with speedsters Staten Ankrum and Ronald Millam in the pass-catching core. In the game last night, that was delayed by lightning bolts, the O'Connor Panthers held off the Jay Mustangs in that district opener that was completed this afternoon. We'll hear from coaches Hamilton and Ritterman when we return. This is Frost High School Football on GDP Sports.
While some banks are slow to approve auto loans, RBFCU
Nitty-gritty time.
Yes. With one of San Antonio's lowest loan rates and fast online approval, you'll have more time and money to live life your way. Apply today at rbfcu.org. Subject to credit approval, rates and terms subject to change. Other restrictions may apply. Better rates. It's what we do at RBFCU.
Hard work, dedication, commitment. Qualities that are found on a winning football team and qualities that you should look for in a contractor. Central Builders has conducted their businesses by these qualities for 25 years. The dedication has resulted in coast-to-coast clients who aim to build, remodel, and restore their large and small businesses. Many school districts and grocery chains, such as HEB, have selected CBI as their first string to implement and improve existing structures as well. Call CBI 210-590-0235.
I'm Gary DeLon, along with Chase Hawley, and we are here at Hero Stadium, high atop our penthouse suite, and we hope you enjoy our verbal view as we bring it to you tonight on our, GDP Sports and our Facebook. So we'll have a good time. We hope you do too. Looking at the Johnson All-Star list from some of the great alums who have finished their education at Johnson High School, Ivanka Escobar is a nationally known oceanographer, and she is well known. Austin Mahone is a pop singer. Jonathan Gorino Rexroot is a professional soccer player. And they defeated last week, lost actually to New Braunfels 28-21, that come from behind her. They opened the season with a loss to Brandeis 31-25 and then beat San Marcos here at Heroes 49-14. Over on the Reagan side, out in the Stone Oak area, they lost to Brennan 17-0 in the opener. Then they lost to Steele 34-21. And then they defeated Clemens, coming from behind last week, out at Buffalo Stadium 35-28. And some of those stars from the Reagan High School area, we've got Jeff Manship. He was a Major League Baseball star. And I think he's a freelancer. I think he's free agency now. Trevor Knight played at Oklahoma. Played at Oklahoma at Texas A&M, and then of course is still, I guess, under contract, but I'm not too sure as to which team he's playing for. Britt Maureen, Anthony Vasquez, who is a major league player. He's in AAA right now, but he is the son of Rudy Vasquez, who is a scout for the Los Angeles Angels. Rudy was our sideline reporter for many, many years. He and Mo Aguilar, and then of course Ty Summers of Green Bay. He is a tremendous star for the Packers. He came out of nowhere. He was a quarterback at Reagan. He weighed about 220 pounds. Now he's about 260, playing a great slot for the Green Bay Packers. Ty Summers played for Gary Patterson at TCU. That's where he became such a well-known star on the defensive line. So that's a little bit of background. Lady Bird Johnson, Claudia Taylor Johnson, of course, the wonderful wife of President Lyndon B. Johnson. I had met Lady Bird many, many years ago. She's such a sweet lady. She's the one that initiated the Beautify Texas plan with all of the beautiful gardens and flowers around the state. And then, of course, Ronald Wilson Reagan, who is probably the most popular president of the 20th century, and one of my favorites too. So that kind of gives you a little background. Reagan is the visiting team tonight. They'll be wearing their white uniforms. The Carolina blue of the Johnson Jaguars will be light blue trousers and the navy blue, Columbia blue actually, colors that they will sport tonight as they take the field. So we went down on the field a while ago, and the first guy we got to was Ron Ritterman, who's been a longtime friend of mine. He's been almost 18 years at Johnson High School.
Gritty time. You're not where you wanted to be as far as your record's concerned, but it's a new season.
Definitely. We are 0-0, and we've had 3 non-district games where we got to grow and mature and face some adversity. And if we've done a good job in fixing all those mistakes, hopefully it'll show tonight.
According to your roster, you got 4 juniors starting in your offensive line, and that's going to be a matter of maturity as they get a little more experience.
No doubt. I really like those guys, but they were all JV football players last year, and they're playing under the Friday night lights now. And the game speed's a little different, the size a little different. They're getting better each week, and that's what we got to do. Hopefully, they've grown enough in the first 3 weeks to go up against a good defensive front tonight.
Well, you've got Rodriguez, you've got Ty Reisner, you've got Randall on one flank, you've got Shane Johnson on the other one, so you've got some real talent if you can all meld together.
Yes, sir. Our skill guys are really good football players, and they've all made some big plays this year, and we're going to need them all to step up tonight and make plays. But again, it's going to go with the offensive line. If we can run block and pass block up front, then our skill guys should have a good night.
It's an unusual beginning, Coach, because we did the Roosevelt game last week, and I was really shocked because they were very impressive.
Well, I don't know if anybody else is really surprised by it because, they were pretty good last year. They just had some bad luck. I think in about 5 games in the fourth quarter, a bad bounce here, a turnover there, a penalty, and they lost some really close games, and they have everybody back. So I think going into this year, I think everybody that knows Roosevelt knew they got a chance to be really special.
So what is your number one goal right now? Of course, winning, I realize, but is it just to get them ready because you got 7 games to go?
Sure. We start district in District 27 6A. It is what it is. You got to be ready every week. You're going to play against good teams every week. But the goal that we have is to be better each week. Wherever we've been the last 3 weeks is insignificant as long as we play better tonight. But I'm going to tell you the same exact thing next week and the week after and the week after, because in Texas high school football, you're going to grow and mature and get better as the year goes on, and you need to be playing your best football at the end of the season. If you want to have a chance to get into the playoffs and have a good run and play in December, which is what everybody wants to do, that's when you have to play your best football. And that's what our goal still is right now. We're on week 4 and we still have 7 ball games to go, but we need to play our best game of the year so far tonight.
And that means stopping Staley, who I understand is going to start tonight.
Sure. Travis is a good football player, and really what he is a leader. You can tell that. He doesn't make too many mistakes or bad plays. We're going to have to get some pressure on him. We're going to have to be the first guy that gets to him is going to have to tackle him so he doesn't extend plays. And then we got to be good in pass coverage tonight. So he does a good job of managing his group. But I like our defense and the way they fly around to the ball, and hopefully we can create some turnovers.
Good luck tonight, Ron. The rest of the way, we'll be following you a lot of the games. So we want to say the Jags are on the prowl.
Thank you, Gary. We appreciate y'all's support and everything y'all do for Texas high school football.
You're listening to Frost High School Football on GDP Sports.
And we're back at Hero Stadium. I want to make a correction. Ron Ritterman has been a coach for 18 years, head coach. He was at Madison for many seasons with Jim Streety, and then, of course, came over here and brought Gordon Grizel with him and Keith Randall. And we talked to Keith's young son. He was shaken up a couple weeks ago when we did the game, and we were a little worried about him because he had to come off the field, and we thought he might have a concussion, but he's really good tonight. And they have another fine young receiver I didn't mention, Shane Johnson. And that's like the old movie, Come Back, Shane, come back. But anyway, They have some great receivers in the core out there. So Ron Ritterman has been the head coach, the only head coach that the Jags have had. This is Lynn Hamilton's third season because he replaced David Wetzel, who was at the quarterback club last week. By the way, Bruce Colley was at the quarterback club Tuesday and gave an inspirational message. And the golden nugget for that particular organization is the fact that we support gridiron heroes, youngsters who've been injured playing the game of football. So that's a little background, but we also had a chance to talk with Lyndon Hamilton, whose brother is a pastor, by the way, at the church in New Braunfels called 1910, I believe. Chase, is that right? And a great pastor. Lyndon Hamilton is a tremendous young coach, too. So let's go down and talk to Lynn.
Are you ready?
Yes.
3, 2.
Coach Lyndon Hamilton of the Ronald Reagan Rattlers, and you guys have had some close ones. I think really you should maybe have been 3-0 right now.
We had some real close ball games, like you said. The Brennan game was really close. We had a lot of young kids that got really good varsity experience for the district race, which we're starting tonight. The Steel game, we shot ourselves in the foot enough to probably last the whole season. We did that last week in the first half, and then we strung together a few drives on offense, found ways to get some critical stops, scored on defense, had some critical takeaways. That's what we talk about on defense. Score on defense, be +2 on the takeaways, give yourself the win. A chance to win and make sure that we're not giving up explosives over the top or on the ground. So if we can do that tonight with the Rodriguez kid and the Reasoner kid, he's a special kid back there. He's a track kid for him. He's got some turbo, so we got to make sure we try to keep him contained and see where it all ends up in the fourth quarter.
Now Staley is healthy tonight, apparently, if he's going to start. So how is his arm?
He's good. He's ready to go tonight. Really good to see him back in the mix. We got his legs back underneath him last week and getting him tuned up for tonight's district race. So we're excited. We're excited to have kind of all our bullets in the gun, and we got the Milam kid back from last week. He got a dinger in week 2, so it's always good to get a 6'3", 190 receiver back. That you can stick on the opposite side of Ankrum to try to take some of that pressure off of 2. So the running backs they've shown some really good versatility in the first 3 weeks. So yeah, we'll see what happens tonight, and we'll try to put it all together.
It's like a kissing cousin, but tonight you're not related at all.
I'll tell you what, these kids have all grown up together. It ought to be a great night. They all played baseball in McAllister Park. They were all at the Mays YMCA football. They all know each other. So that's what makes it special. That's what makes it fun tonight to be a part of as a coach. It's got that small town atmosphere. Just like Johnson and Reagan. It's got that. It's got that charisma to it, and it ought to be a real special night. And hopefully we're there in the fourth quarter and we can play Reagan Rattler football.
Well, you followed in some great footsteps with Dave Wetzel, and I know you keep in touch with him a lot, and he's a great speaker last week at the quarterback club, so you'll be talking to him tomorrow, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, we talk all the time, and when he can find time to squeeze it in his schedule. But, no, a great man, a mentor to me, and showed me the ropes, and, I'm just very fortunate to be bleeding green. I got 2 boys in the program, and I couldn't be more ecstatic to be a part of this community and this entire school system.
Well, you're certainly an enhancement to the program, Lyndon, and I want to thank you for taking time to be with us, and good luck tonight.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Strike 'em.
That was Lyndon Hamilton, and we'll return in just a moment. You're listening to Frost High School Football.
Well, we've had the captains for the respective schools, and the Reagan Rattlers have won the toss, and they have opted to, I think, kick off here in the first half. We had Jaron Randall out there for the toss of the coin, Justin Rodriguez, Colton Lee, who was injured in the last game we did here, and he seems to be recovering as he's still on crutches. And then, of course, Brandon Brown, who's that great defensive lineman at 240 pounds of solid muscle. And for the Reagan Rattlers, who did win the toss, you got Jacob Bullock, Travis Staley, and you had Dwayne Murray, and then number 33, which has been a jersey change for him tonight. And I wrote it down, but for the life of me, I cannot find it. Luke Hoggett. And Luke is the relative of another young Hoggett player a few years ago. I think that was all district. So that's your starting situation with the football. It'll be Reagan winning the toss and no doubt will kick off. And wind is going to be a factor here early anyway. It's probably about 18 miles an hour as the flag is whipping in a swirling type circle down at the southern end zone. And that could be a factor in the kicking game and the passing game tonight. We'll be back after these words. So we want to hear from Frost Bank and other participating sponsors. You're listening to Frost High School Football.
According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, more than 100 Americans die each day in traffic crashes, and thousands more are injured. If you were injured in a car crash, call Thomas J. Henry. Thomas J. Henry handles serious auto accident cases and gets serious results for injured clients. Start your free claim today at tjhlaw.com/radio. That's tjhlaw.com/radio.
San Antonio, Texas.
Every family wants the assurance that their most valuable possessions are protected and secure for the future. That's why you need the most insurance coverage that budgets can afford. Even though his company is headquartered in Texas, John Lester is expanding his company from coast to coast. He has recently added several major insurance companies to better serve his growing clientele. You are protected from hurricane, fire, auto accidents, even a polar bear attack. John Lester once played linebacker for the Bastrop Bears, knows the importance of insurance. Call John Lester's Insure 1-210-541-9771.
Before I give the starting lineups in tonight's contest, Mark Witherell is with us again tonight, and he's having to do double duty. He'll be making commentary as well as keeping stats because Walter Stoops is with UTSA in North Texas as they battle the Mean Green in North Texas tomorrow. And then, of course, Charles Vickers on his way to Lost Wages, Nevada.
Yeah, Gary, it's really nice to be here at Hero Stadium tonight for a big matchup early in the district play out here. Reagan Rattlers on the visiting side this year versus Johnson Jags, and both of these teams, one come in at 1-2, but that doesn't matter tonight when you talk about starting district play. And both these teams have quite a bit of returning talent, and I think both of them are going to have something to say about the district champ by the time it's all over with.
The principal at Johnson High School is Gary Kummerlander, the son of the former athletic director, Jerry Kummerlander, and the principal at Johnson, Gary Kummerlander, his partner in education across town, Brenda Shelton, who's done a great job as head of the school for Ronald Reagan. Band director for Ronald Reagan is Dan Morrison, and it is Jarrett Lipman for the Johnson Jags. So we have set the stage for you. Now let's get you the starting lineups first for the Johnson Jaguars, who will be receiving here according to the toss of the coin. Jaron Randall, 6'3", 165, senior, great young man. Will Hunsinger, 6'3", 250. He was shaken up a couple weeks ago as well. He's a junior, 250. Kevin Benjamin, 5'11", 196, a small guy. He's a left guard starter, a junior. Center is Evan Malon, 5'11", 255, junior. I'm not sure how you pronounce it in English, but if in French it'd be Malon. So Mario Jimenez, 6'2", 225, senior, right guard. Right tackle, Eric Bonjourno, 6'3", 212, junior. And over at tight end right is Kateris Sanders, 6'1", 205, senior. And then out on the other wideout is Shane Johnson, 6'1", 188. He's a junior. Justin Rodriguez is, of course, the big gun, 5'8", 185, averaging almost 6 yards every time he touches the pigskin. Elvin Simpson will be at fullback. He is wearing number 6. Ty Reisner, he can fly, 5'8", 160, a junior. He is really quick on the cinder paths, or don't call it anymore. Now it's the track. And now here's the defense for the Reagan Rattlers of Lynn Hamilton. You'll have cornerback on the left side, Jaden Staggers, 5'11", junior, 170. Your rover is Richard Jones, 6'2", 185, senior. Your down tackle in that three-man front is Marion Anderson, 5'11", 205, senior. Nose tackle, Dwayne Murray, senior, 6'1", 255. Your defensive end is Price Yates, 6'4", 240, junior. Your stud lineman is Sam Newman, 5'10", 185 senior. And then corner on the other side is Lamarck Patterson, senior, 5'11", 185. Inside linebacker, Sean Jones, 6'1", 210. Your safety man on the right side is Pedro Ryan, 6', 185 junior. Inside linebacker on the left side is Roberto Sada, 6'1", 230 junior. And your safety in the deep secondary is Jake Bullock, 5'9", 180 senior. So those are your starting lineups. And we'll be back with some more information and the kickoff as we bring you this great Friday night shindig between the Johnson Jaguars and the Ronald Reagan Rattlers. You're listening to Frost High School Football.
The most important team member isn't always playing in the game. Sometimes they hold a clipboard on the sideline. A good coach doesn't just call plays. They instill confidence in the individual and help the team overcome adversity. At Frost, we believe that good coaching in your financial life can accomplish the same thing. After all, if we believe in you and you believe in you, anything is possible. Frost. Opt for optimism.
In 1984, high school students were dancing to the song Hey Mickey. That same year, Sherry Armstrong opened Mecca Sportswear to provide those students with quality leather jackets along with all district and all state patches. Well, now, 3 decades later, Sherry and her family are still providing custom leather jackets and award patches to South Texas' greatest student achievers. Call toll-free 844-HEY-MECCA. Hey Mecca, 844-HEY-MECA.
In 2017, more than 4,700 people were killed in crashes involving large trucks in the U.S. Semi-trucks, which weigh 20 to 30 times as much as passenger cars, can cause severe injuries in the event of a wreck. If you were injured in an 18-wheeler accident, call Thomas J. Henry. Thomas J. Henry handles serious trucking cases and gets serious results for injured clients. Start your free claim today at tjhlaw.com/radio. That's tjhlaw.com/radio.
San Antonio, Texas.
We're back at Heroes Stadium where we are about to see the matchup between the Reagan Rattlers and the Johnson Jaguars. As the Reagan Rattlers run out onto the team, Mark, what do you think this game is going to be about tonight? What do you think the key factor between these two strong, powerful teams is going to be?
Well, I think the big key factor tonight, Chase, is going to be number 11 for the Reagan Rattlers. That's going to be Travis Staley. He has not played due to some injuries and knocking the rust off and getting back to that championship caliber football he was playing last year. You know, as a senior leader, you want your quarterback out there, and now they're finally able to get him back out there, and I think they're going to see some good things on offense tonight. And, you know, 1 and 2 doesn't mean anything. Once again, we're starting district. It's for real now.
I definitely agree. I think that Staley's going to, really have an effect on the game tonight. But also looking on over at the Johnson Jaguar side, we have a lot of speed in the backfield. We have Justin Rodriguez as they run out onto the team, as you can see. Justin Rodriguez runs a 4.5 on the 40-yard dash, along with Ty Reasoner, who is also a 4.5 runner on the 40-yard dash. So I think it's going to be an equal matchup on the offensive side of the ball. And I think we're going to have to look at the defensive side of the ball also, and who's going to have a stronger defense and who's going to play better on that side of the ball.
Yeah, no doubt that both these teams coming in, they haven't had a great season so far, but just like the coaches said in warm-up, this is a team of a bunch of guys who played with each other in Little League. They were at the rec leagues together. They go to church together. They live close together. But when they start district play, there's no friends out there, and they need to start district for the last 7 games of the season. Getting a win puts you ahead of the game just as much as getting a loss puts you behind the 8 ball for the rest of the year.
And that's exactly right, and that's what they're going to try to do tonight. And like Coach Ritteman said in his interview, he said that it doesn't matter about the non-district games. If we lost or if we won, it doesn't matter, because now all we're focused on for the next 7 games is to win every single game in this district.
We did get our officials list tonight, and Charlie Warnett, veteran official, is a referee. Then you have Charles Salinas, senior and junior. Charles Sr. is the umpire. Head linesman is Charles Jr. Darren Harden is the line judge. Back judge is Charles Marquardt. Roland Wiseman is the field judge, and side judge is Jeff Spence. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the Star Spangled Banner as the color guard from Johnson High School is at midfield. direction of Jared Lippman, the band director, and the Johnson Jaguar Marching Band. Cheer coach is Jennifer Salazar for the Rattlers, Shannon Wiley for the Jags. The dance coach, Valerie Sisson for the Rattlers, and Stephanie Trevino for the Johnson Jaguars. The junior ROTC commander at Ronald Reagan High School is Lieutenant Colonel Chad Livingston and Major Thomas Gargett over at Johnson ROTC. So that sets the stage tonight, and we have the Gridiron Thespians ready to perform their actions on stage in front of several thousand people. That is a late arriving crowd. We can see the parking lot is still very active, and a lot of people are meandering their way toward the turnstiles. So we're ready to go. Strong wind. I didn't get the official reading, but it's got to be at least 20 miles an hour out of the southeast. Of course, Houston got pounded again in the last 36 hours, and heavy rains in some sections of San Antonio last night. I'm Gary DeLon, along with Chase Holly and Mark Witherell and Rob Hicks tonight in a shortened crew because of out-of-town commitments, as the UTSA Roadrunners will be playing the Green in Denton, Texas tomorrow, of the University of North Texas. Do you know who was a prominent graduate of North Texas, Mark? Not only was it Mean Joe Green, but it was also Pat Boone.
Oh, okay. I've heard. Now that you say that, I remember there's some big names that graduated from that school up there.
Wasn't it ironic that Mean Joe Green played for the Mean Green? Boy, he was a great one.
Yeah, speaking of green, the Reagan Rattlers tonight in their visiting white jerseys with green numbers and green helmets, with the side of the pants being green as well. The big Rattler has already been deflated, and they're coming out for the kickoff now. The Reagan Rattlers wearing their home blue jerseys with blue pants and dark helmets.
Yeah, and the two speedsters who are deep, and they're standing at the goal line. One is Jarrett Randall on the far side, and Shane Johnson, two speedy receivers, and kicking it away will be the boot.
And it goes down to Shane Johnson at the 1 yard line. Now he is up to the 15, and he takes a hard right juke, and he's to the 25. There's a flag on the play, though.
Could it be a legal blocker holding?
Shane Johnson was trying to look for the blockers on that play, but he just couldn't find an open hole due to that Reagan Rattler kickoff team coming in and closing those holes down, Gary DeLon.
So referee Charlie Winnett says we have an infraction in the opening kickoff, and that sets him back. That was a doggone good return, too.
That was a good return by Shane Johnson. He definitely was looking down the field, trying to make a good play and trying to get that good field position to start the game off against this hard Reagan Rattler defense.
Over the ball will be center Evan Mello, 5'11", 255. He's a junior. They average 229 in the offensive line. And they face a big defensive alignment as well. 205, 255, 240. Down 3. Now you have Johnson out wide left. Randall wide right. Have a slot man left. Simpson. The ball's back to the 8 yard line. So Ty Reisner puts a man in motion from the 2. And the handoff. Rodriguez breaks through. He's to the 10, 14-yard line. Nice run by Rodriguez. And the first guy to get in there to make the stop is Dwayne Murray. But boy, he eased his way forward and picked up about 5.5 yards. So it'll be second down. But it gets him out of the coffin corner anyway. So you put Randall out wide to the right. Johnson wide left. Slot man in motion. Reisner. Same play, same call. And no place to go this time. At the bottom of that Reagan stack
as he had to come up from his defensive position in the backfield. And it looked like Sean Jones came in there to make the first hit. So it'll be third down now and still a yard. About 20 inches to go for the first down. And it's a 5-man front. Overbalanced to the right. Rodriguez. I don't know if he got it. What do you think, Chase?
He might have just gotten in. The chains are starting to move. So I think he got the first down, and that'll be a great way to get out of that danger zone for the Johnson Jaguars.
So the guy that made the stop on that play was Blake Plant, the 205-pound defensive back on the left side. First down of the game as they've come out of the deep catacombs now, and they're at the 18-yard line. Reasoner puts Randall in motion left to right, 18 yards into the near side, going from my left to right against the wind. And here's a pass downfield, and it's overthrown. Try to compensate for that heavy wind, and it was intended deep downfield for, not sure if that was Rodriguez or...
no, that was number 22, and it looked like he didn't have
Dexter Wakefield, tight end.
He looked like he didn't have his head up, and he looked back
didn't see
when
the pass.
Ball was already on the ground. So
second and 10 at the 18.
He wasn't anticipating that.
So now you have Randall, Johnson wide to the right. So go wide out left. Randall's in motion left to right. Reasoner hands it off. No place to go this time. Boy, they stuffed the ballot box. And Rodriguez couldn't get any traction at all. He only gained one. Despite the blocking by Will Hunsinger. I think it was Will. He was injured a couple weeks ago. I'm not sure if he's in there tonight or if it's his sub.
The Reagan Rattlers are doing a great job of trying to hold Rodriguez and Reasoner, like Hamilton said in the interview.
He gains half a yard, so it's third down and still 9. He may go to the air. Ty Reasoner. And he's back. 2-yard drop, throws, and it's caught. And it's up to the 35-yard line, and Randall makes the reception. And a great bullet pass out in the flat, and it's good for a first down as Jaden Staggers makes the stop at cornerback left side. And that is the second first down on this drive that began at the 8-yard line. Gain of 15. It's first down at the 35. Going from my left to right. They're going against the wind. Reasoner with Rodriguez as his cohort in the backfield. And Reasoner passes in the flat again. It's down and out to Jaron Randall, and gain of 7. And again, making the stop is that same young man.
Looks to be as if Jaron Randall has really stepped up in the past 2 games from when we saw him first. It looks like he is catching a lot more balls now and trying to get open.
And it's a gain of 8, second and 2. And it's a good-looking drive against that whipping wind. It's a wayward wind, and this is the birthday of the great songstress who made that famous Gogi Grant. Handoff, Rodriguez. First down and more. A great surge, great push by Dwayne Murray. Price Yates, check that, make it by Benjamin Milo and Jimenez. Gain of 6, and that is another first down. It's at the 49-yard line in Jaguar territory, 18 yards from the far side, going from my left to right against the wind that's blowing off of Wurzbach Parkway. First and 10. Double wide out set to the left, single set to the right. That's Randall. And Rodriguez tries to crack back, but the block isn't there. But he gains 3. So you got a double trouble on the stop as making the hit in the down group. First guy to get in there was Jack Davis. So it'll be second down, gain of 3, second and 7. just across midfield at the 48-yard line in Reagan territory. Randall comes to the near side in motion. Reasoner throws long downfield. He's got a man down. They can't get there. Intended for Randall. And Randall's being matched step for step by Jaden Staggers. And it will be third down now and still about 8. 7-16, no score, first period. Against the wind as the Reagan Rattlers won the toss and they kicked it away to the Johnson Jags, who have battled the wind, but they've been able to get some first downs on this drive. They keep it alive. It's almost equidistant between the sidelines now. Reasoner has third and long. What will he do? He awaits the snap, has a man in motion, and he's back to pass. He sets up the screen and dropped by Shane Johnson. Very unlike him to drop it. He had daylight, but I think what happened was he saw the daylight and he tried to go for the rainbow. And he just couldn't hang on to it.
Shane Johnson doing a good job of trying to just keep his composure. I know that that's a hard ball to be lost, but the punt team's just going to have to punt it away, and the defense is just going to try to hold him, and hopefully they can get the ball back and make another crack at the Reagan Rattlers defense.
Well, the punter is Brandvik. He gets it away, and it's going to be held up and taking a bounce back toward the Johnson side of the field. It's dead at the 29, so that's going to be just a 20-yard kick. 21-yard punt against that whipping wind of 20 miles an hour out of the south. It may be even higher than that now, Chase. It's, it's really unfurling the Old Glory there.
It definitely is whipping over there, Gary Delanis.
I bet that's a 25-mile-an-hour wind.
It felt good down on the field, though, for once, instead of being humid and hot. It felt good for the players, and I think the players are going to be happy.
All right, you'll have Travis Staley at quarterback. Then you'll have Jonathan Conwell at running back. Fullback will be Jacob Cho. And now in the offensive formation, a handoff, a spin, a twirl, a pirouette. And it goes quickly to Carson Green, who spins his way forward for 4 yards. It'll be second and along 5 at the 20, at the 34 from the 29. Second down. It is a 5-man 52D now for Ron Ritterman's Johnson Jags. Staley. Back to pass. He wants to go with the wind. He throws upfield. It is caught, man, and open. And it's going to be to the 40 to 35-yard line. Staten Ankrum turned on the Jets. Man, he passed it at the secondary faster than ordering from a Longhorn Cafe drive-in. Woo! He is fast. 29 yards, first and 10. Defensively, you got Brown, Gonzalez. You have Bawa, Kirk, Hernandez, Rodriguez, Langley, Watt, Lee, Colton Lee's not in there. Parker Spanlake because Lee was hurt last week. Garrett James and then Willie Branch. So it's a long gain into Johnson Jaguar territory, but they've got the cage door open. Rudnick, Cody, Martin, Perry, all the down group. They're big, they're tough, and they're strong. It's a 4-3-D now for Johnson. Going from my right to left. This is the handoff, fake handoff. And the ball is on the ground. I don't think, did they give it to him? He fell down just as the ball got there. And they're going to say he did catch it. And that was to the trailing tailback, or the wideout. Was that Ronald Milam who made that catch? He fell down and still brought it in his breadbasket for another first down. It's at the 27-yard line. First and 10. Here they go. The Rattlers out of the snake pit. Handoff straight up the middle. Bang to the 25, 23-yard line, 22-yard line. He crashes and dashes for another first down.
The Reagan Rattlers are just making it up the field with an easy pace, and they have a combination of the passing game but also the running game, and it looks like that's a freshman running the ball, right?
Jonathan Conwell. He's a junior.
No, it's number 14.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's Carson Green. Yeah, it's a 165-pound, 5'8",
freshman.
That's hard to believe.
That's hard to believe. I can't believe that, Gary.
Power I formation. 1st and 10 at the 22. Here's the keep, and it goes to Staley. Goes out of bounds at the 15. Make it, right at the 15, 16-yard line. He gets a great block on the outside. Out there blocking was Ankrum, and it's all the way down to the 11-yard line. Blake Thompson was helping to lead the way at tight end. First down with the wind and with the ball and with the great scoring opportunity. Handoff, and it's that freshman. He's in the end zone. Slashes and prances and dances for a 6-point touchdown. And Carson Green.
Gary DeLon, to see a freshman playing that well on the varsity level is just pretty amazing to me. How skillful some kids
455.
are nowadays. I know back in the day it wasn't like that, and now there's some real skill and talent down in the little freshman league. And if they're good enough, they get brought up to the varsity level, and he just happens to be starting now.
Yep. So it will be PAT time. And it is up, it is high, and bingo. And it's 7-0 now as the big guy put it through. So it is now 7-0. 4:55 to play in the first quarter as the Reagan Rattlers have struck first. You're listening to Frost High School football.
Every San Antonio family has a dream to live in their own castle. There's one San Antonio real estate expert who can fulfill that dream, and he has provided many wonderful kingdoms for hundreds of home buyers in South Texas. Chris Collins of RE/MAX Preferred has been the realtor selected by families that want to make that dream a reality. He'll provide the expertise and confidence to purchase the home that's your address for future happiness. Call Chris at RE/MAX Preferred 210-213-2432.
Gary, that scoring drive by the Reagan Rattlers, first offensive series of the night, went 71 yards, took 2:17 off the clock in only 6 plays. An 11-yard run by Carson Green makes the score 7-0 Reagan.
That was quick. And maybe with the wind, that one pass that was caught, even though he was on the ground, that set up really the drive.
And that was a dangerous pass, too, because that ball came into his pocket as he was sliding down the ground, and it bounced up, and I thought the Johnson Jaguar players that were coming in were going to get the ball as an interception type deal.
So it'll be kickoff one more time. Hernandez will be booting it after he made the PAT. Number 70 on his jersey, and here's the kick. It's going to go in and out of the end zone as the wayward wind by Gogi Grant carried it right onto the track.
And that was a good kick by Hernandez, putting it all the way back in the end zone. So now the Johnson Jaguars are going to be having to think about what they're going to do on this offensive drive.
Well, they trail 7-0, and that's one thing that Coach Whitman did not want to do. In his career, he's 80-46, rather 80-49 as the head coach at Jaguar Land.
And Coach Whitman talked about how he wanted to have the first score and how he was going to try to stop the Reagan Rattlers in any way possible.
Wind is a factor, though. We have to admit that.
That is true.
This is the handoff. Rodriguez finds a hole, but it's not very big, and he gets 3 yards. And the first defender to get to him wears number 20 on the back of his white jersey. The Reagan Rattlers in their white traveling uniforms. And it's a gain of 4. And they're trying to hurry up offense now, and making the stop on that play was Jacob Cho, who's now playing some defense. It is a 3-man front. Now they go into almost a 3-3. Man in motion, handoff again to Rodriguez. Stutter steps his way. He gets maybe a yard. If that, I think he's held for NG, no gain, at the 30-yard line. Bryce Yates, 6'4", 240, makes the stop at defensive end on the right side.
So this is where Reasoner is going to have to back up and look at the coaches, and the coaches are going to say, do we go with the pass route, or do we let Rodriguez run the ball on the outside or take the hole?
3rd and 4, 18 yards in from the near side, going from my left to right toward Wurzbach Parkway. You got a double wide out set right, single set to the left.
Rodriguez, the running back. It's 3 yards needed, 3.5 for a first down. Now you have a man in motion going left to right. Here's the snap, and here's the toss out in the flat. It's incomplete, intended for Randall. And it was there, but he just couldn't hang on to it. So that's punt time.
It was a little thrown behind him also because he had to try to come back for that ball, and it was just an awkward position.
I've been watching number 23, Jalen Staggers. I think he's king on Randall every play because he's just to be pretty much on him one-on-one.
I've also noticed that too, Gary DeLon. He's definitely applying that pressure on the defensive side of the ball.
Hoggett is deep, whose brother played for the Rattlers a few years ago. So it's punt time, and the kick is away. Hoggett will watch it, and it takes pretty good bounce. It rolls that at the 30. So it's a 38-yard boot against the wind. And so leading 7-0, 3:20 to play here in the first period. Fast-moving quarter, boy. Zip, zip.
The punter did a good job right there of keeping that ball a little bit lower than last time to try to drive it farther in yardage than try to put it up in the sky and let that wind affect it.
So the white-clad Reagan Rattlers leading 7-0. They come out with a strong side to the right. And now it's a power I in the backfield with a blocking back to the right. 5-man front. Handoff as this time it's not the freshman. I believe it's going to be Jonathan Conwell. He's a regular running back. He's a junior, 5'10", 175. And he is stopped in there by Gonzalez. So it'll be a gain on the play of nothing. 2:58 to go, 7-0 here in the first. The Rattlers lead it. And the Johnson Jaguars now in a 52D. Back to pass. This is Staley. He wants to go deep. He's going to be fumble! And it's recovered by Reagan. He was hit, and saving the day for the Rattlers is Zenon Rudnick. Also 4. He's only a sophomore, but get this. He can have the ball anytime he wants it. 6'4", 320.
That is humongous, Gary DeLon.
That's bigger than an entire pit of rattlesnakes.
That definitely is.
Third down, a loss of 3. 3rd and 13 at the 28-yard line. Going from my right to left, the white-clad Reagan Rattlers are facing a 5 shifting D now. They try to close the gaps. And this is long pass upfield. It is at the foot of the trailing Staten Ankrum. Didn't have a shot at it because it hit his shoelaces. And it could have been a New Balance type shoe. I don't think it's Nike. But it will be 4th down.
You picking on my Nikes, Gary DeLon?
No, it's New Balance worn by Mr. Hicks. He's a soul brother with that cushioned sole there. So it'll be punt time. So it's a good D for the Johnson Jags. They trail 7-0. And Hoggett, the soccer-style kick, runs about 5 yards to the left, rather right, and then he kicks it away. And, yeah, he gets a tremendous bounce. It's still rolling. And where's Rowdy Yates? It's down to the 15-yard line. With the breeze and a sneeze at his back. 1:47 to go. 7-0 here in the first period. We're at Hero Stadium. And a lot of people have still been, they're still coming in the parking lot. I guess they did. And Drew's not even there. So it'll be, and there's a flag at, sideline warning. I hate that. So it'll be offensive time, 7-0. The Jaguars trailing, 1:47 to go. Been a good ball game against the wind and with the wind, and a couple of great plays already. So it will be Staley, Randall out on the right side. And man goes in motion. Reverses field. Now here's the handoff. Rodriguez straight up the middle. Oh, he's still moving, still chugging. And gain of 7 yards. He is really tough to bring down.
I think Rodriguez definitely has some of the most fleet feet combined with the most strong feet and powerful legs, because he just keeps on moving those legs and pumping until he gets a few extra yards at every run.
Well, making the stop on that play was Marion Anderson, but it's a gain on the play for 8 yards, 2nd and 2. Time ticking away down to 1:10. 18 yards up the far side. Here's the hand of Rodriguez. No, it's a great fake. This is Reasoner. 30, 35, 40. He's 45, 50. Down to the 40, 35, 30, 25, 20. He will go! Terrific Ty Reasoner. 83 yards. Oh, my goodness. There's more of a crowd than the funeral service for Big Tex at the Dallas Fairgrounds right there. Nobody could catch him, and the mortician said, let's bury that play, and it's 7-6.
And that's definitely something that I talked about before the game started. I told Mark that Ty Reasoner has that 4.5 speed along with Rodriguez, and if you let one of those two loose,
that was a tremendous fake, Chase.
They will turn on the jets and run for 6.
Well, he did. So it's 7-6. Fireworks here off Wurzbach Parkway. And here's the high kick by Kenny Reed, and he puts it through, and we have a 7-7 score. 55 seconds left to play in this first stanza from Hero Stadium, our elite edifice of confrontation. We'll be back. You're listening to Frost High School Football.
Coming home means a lot of things to a lot of people. It's a place where you can kick off your shoes or even kick it up a notch. As the #1 mortgage lender in Texas for credit unions, you can trust RBFCU when buying your new home. We'll be there for you every step of the way. So whether it's buying your first home or financing your forever home, you can count on us to make your dream come true. To apply online and for complete details, visit rbfcu.org. Some restrictions may apply. Loan subject to credit approval. RBFCU is an equal housing lender.
Back at Hero Stadium, where the Johnson Jaguars get on the board to tie the score at 7-7 with a 2-play 90-yard drive, 1:01 off the clock, but an 83-yard touchdown run by quarterback Ty Reasoner.
Oh, was that a beautiful fake. We have Staten Ankrum deep on the far side of the field, along with Zane Rabba.
This is definitely a good matchup. I think it's a very equal matchup, like I said. And there's definitely a lot of speed on both sides of the ball and a lot of adversity and strength. And, you know, they've been through a lot. Both of these teams have, but I think they're starting to realize.
Great coaching as well.
Yes, very great
Kenny
coaching.
Reed will kick away. Ankrum on the far side. It's coming to the near side, taken by the Upman 20, 25. Hoggett has it and gets to the 25, gets a 6-yard return, and he is dumped in a hurry. And making the stop on the specialty team unit is Jonah Gary. Jonah Gary makes the stop.
The Reagan Rattlers now have a chance to take back what the Johnson Jags just did to them and see if they can have a score on this drive.
They're going with the wind. That wind is at least 25 to 30 miles an hour as Old Glory is really whipping in the breeze here, and it's 1st and 10.
It looks as if the Rattlers are changing out their tailbacks, too.
At the 25, straight up the middle, and it's almost a breakaway. And one more little step, and he would have gone, and that was Carson Green. No, was that 14 or 44? Okay, Green gained 6, so Carson Green, a freshman. It is still a 5-man front. 2nd down and 4. Now shifting into a 43. This is quarterback Staley. 40, 45, 48. Flag goes down, could be a hold. He got a block out front. The block was made by Jacob Cho, but they may put it back. It depends on if it was a hold or an illegal block. 12-yard gain and a 1st down if it is copacetic, and we'll have to wait and see. Oh, that was a illegal block, according to Mr. Warnett.
So that'll set it back. So that really nullifies and eradicates that great run.
That was a great
by Travis Staley.
Yes, that was a great run by Staley, and he definitely had some really good field position after that, going into that.
You know, talk about speed on this football field tonight. I'll give you some names here in a minute, but right now it's 8 seconds in the quarter, 7-7, 43D. Now they're going to a 52. Handoff, fake, pass, and caught. Nice catch, nice fake, and it is complete up at the 45-yard line for a first down. And just a tremendous catch by Ronald Milam. He's a 6'3", 190 receiver and a great target. It ends the first quarter. Exciting ball game with the wind, with the heat, with the talent, and with the size. It is 7-7. We'll be back. You're listening to Frost High School Football on Gary DeLon Sports.
You don't have to be a frequent flyer to know the best rent car location in San Antonio. Budget Rent Car is a locally owned company that provides a fleet of new automobiles and a staff of professionals who have served the thousands of travelers who want quick access to the airport, reasonable prices, and available quality vehicles. That's one name that stands out in the San Antonio rental business. Budget Car and Truck Rental on Sandow Road, just east of 281 North. Phone 210-824-0737. Budget Car San Antonio.
Back at Hero Stadium with some first half stats. As even as the scoreboard is, Johnson with 10 rushing yards, or 10 rushes for 117 yards. Reagan, 9 rushes for 47 yards. We'll get the rest of the stats as we go back to play.
And they now are going against the wind as they change direction. Staley, handoff, and it is to Green one more time, and Green crosses the 45, gets to the 48-yard line. He picks up 4, and making the stop in the middle of that stack is Alan Gonzalez along with
4.
Brandon Brown. Second down and 6, 7-7 beginning the second stanza. Equidistant from the sideline markers. The Reagan Rattlers, 1-2. And Staley rolling out, throwing downfield. He's got a man down in the clearance. Caught at the 20-yard line. Incomplete. He dropped it, bobbled it, and dropped it. And it was complete initially to the trailing wideout, and that is to Ronald Milam. 6'3", 190 with great hands, but he couldn't hang on to that one. So it will be incomplete. Looked like it's going to be a 30-yard gain instead of it's just an INC. Incomplete. It is 3rd and 7. Closer to 6 as they go now with that West Coast offense. Double wideout set to the right. Slot man left. The single wideout set. Here's Staley back to pass. He's really ridden out of the pocket and gets to the 50 and stopped at the 49. He was almost tackled behind the line of scrimmage. Finally bringing him down in the secondary is, again, Alex Gonzalez, the 5'8", 250-pound junior. That's a squatty body if I've ever seen one. But he framed it just right, didn't he? So it is 4th down now and still 2 to go. The best defensive stand of the night now for the Johnson Jags. And dropping back deep, you've got Jaron Randall and his buddy Shane Johnson.
And they both have a lot of speed.
And here's a fake kick, but now this is the soccer style. And I hate that style of kicking.
I don't understand it, Gary DeLon.
It was Hoggett who ran to his right about 5 yards. I guess, maybe if they see an opening, they'll run. But I just don't think they get a good toe into it. You're a good kicker, so you know the difference.
I definitely don't understand. You don't really do that in soccer either. That looks more like a rugby-style punt.
Yeah, you're right.
Of the way that they hold the ball and run with it. Soccer is more stationary, just like football, except you kind of kick with the side of your laces instead of the inside of your foot.
Shane Johnson is the wide man right. Randall left. Man in motion. Handoff. Rodriguez. He's to the 30, the 35. He's to the 40. He's to the 45. He goes out of bounds at the 45-yard line. Finally, ridden out of bounds. And it's a good thing because he had a little more daylight. He didn't have enough room on the near sideline. And making the stop in the deep secondary, he wears number 35.
And if it hadn't been for Richard Jones, he might have had more yardage. He is a rover back. He said, Rover, please come over. And he got 12 yards. It's another first down. 7-7 score. 10-19 to go here in the second. 7-7. And going out wide right is Jordan Blass. It's strong side to the right. Shane Johnson in motion. Back to pass, Ty Reasoner. He sets his feet. He throws with the wind downfield. There's a man down there. He can't get there. Little too strong. Shane Johnson. He didn't have Alan Ladd to give him any interference there. So it's 7. Nobody knows what that is anyway. 7-7 score. 10-10 to play here. My grandson shakes his head. And it's 7-7. A great ball game, as we knew it would be. 27-6A.
We definitely predicted a good ball game here as the Jaguars are stepping up against the Rattlers, putting that defensive stop on them.
The big blue going from my right to left. Rodriguez tries to turn outside. He slips by one tackler, 2 tacklers, but he gets no gain at all. He has 3 Rattlers spying on him as Dwayne Murray gets the bottom of the pile, and it's going to be in no gain, 3rd and 10. It's at the 44-yard line. 9:49 second quarter. So here comes Randall. And he's joined out on the left side by Jack Kumalander. That name's familiar, huh?
That name's really familiar.
Kumalander in motion. Now he turns, comes back the other way. This is Reasoner. He throws out on the right side. It is incomplete. It was too far, too tall, and too bad. And it was intended for Shane Johnson. So it'll be 4th and punt with a wind. 7-7. Kumalander was temporarily open, but he had his mindset on the down and out. So it'll be punt time. And it will be Landon Brandvik again.
And this is the first time he gets to punt with the wind.
Yeah, let's see what he does with the wind. 18 yards in the far side. It is a 7-man front. The kick is away. It's going to take a bounce right into the hands of the returner, and he gets by one man. And ill-advised return by Hoggett. And he has lost 2 on the play, back to the 10-yard line.
I think they're going to mark it at 13.
And down on the specialty team was Spencer Hawthorne to make the stop. So it will be 1st and 10.
With 9 minutes, 11 seconds left in the first half.
At the 13-yard line.
So the Reagan Rattlers will get a crack at an offensive drive to see if they can score a touchdown and maybe one up.
Campbell and Ankrum out wide right. Single set to the left. Here's the pitch back and a keep. But it's a gain of 3 maybe by Staley at the bottom of the big blue stack after a gain of 4. For the Jaguars is one of the co-captains today, Brandon Brown. Yeah, he tried. I think he tried to read something that wasn't there. Now they split the 3-man front, go to a 44. And handoff. No place to go. They've adjusted well on the defensive side of the fence, and that was again stopped for a loss on the play as Jonathan Conwell tried to gain something. And it'll be 3rd down and still about 4.5.
It looks like Staley's moving a little bit slower than usual.
So he puts Conwell back. He sets, he throws a little flat pass out and is caught and out of bounds at the 24-yard line. It is Milam, the kid with the big hands, 6'3", 190. And let's see if they're going to give him enough for a first down. I can't tell yet. They haven't signaled it. 4th down and 4th down and about a size 11.5. I don't think they're going to take a chance, though, at the 22-yard line.
I don't think they're going to take a chance.
That was just a great defense there by... I tell you what, Ronald didn't have enough room to run. Had he had more room, he would have gained some more yardage, but he was already at the sideline. So 8 minutes and 1 second on the clock. 7-7. And there's a whistle. Timeout for the... Reagan wants to talk about it. You don't think they'd try to go for it, do you? I don't think so.
I don't think so, because if they try to go for it off that fake rugby-style punt that you don't really like, Gary DeLon, I don't think they're going to be able to have enough time to get to that right side or to that left side to get that first down.
You know, I have to say this with reverence now. Birthday time, 1934. Sophia Loren.
I have no clue who that is.
I know you don't, but I do. I do. One of the all-time great movies, The Boy on a Dolphin. Yes. Golly, that makes her pretty old, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I know about that.
Pretty
All right,
aged.
it will be... it's fourth down. Let's see if Mr. Hoggett does that same thing or if he tries to boot them straight away. He's at his own 7. He will... No. Oh, straight up in the air. He shanked it. Looks like Jerry Kummelander's golf tee shot this morning. Oh, my. That's a
really
net
mad
gain. Net yardage, 5 yards. Oh, what a golden opportunity for the Johnson Jags. Let's see what Ron Ritterman can come up with, the old quarterback from Southwest Texas. Yep. 43D. In motion, you have, and here's a handoff. Rodriguez looked, tried to read the defensive line. He stopped right outside right guard and tried to go through, but he couldn't get any yardage. And making the stop was Sam Newman. First guy to get in there. And he gained about 2.
That Rattler defensive line is eyeing Rodriguez very, very closely.
Yep.
Because he is known for busting through one of those holes and running for 6.
2nd and 8. Reisner puts a man in motion, and that's Robert Ramirez. Keeper, and there was no place for him to go. I tell you what, that was a tremendous read of the offensive effort and making the stop. He met him at the line of scrimmage, and just a tremendous play, and that was done by Darius Taylor. So that's going to be a loss of a yard, 3rd and 9. You have Randall and Rodriguez now wide right. No, it's not Rodriguez. He's still a running back. No, it is Rodriguez in motion. And somebody moved. Right tackle moved. That'll cost him 5.
That is just a mistake that you can't make on that 3rd down, because that is a really far 3rd down conversion, and they needed all the yards that they had.
Rodriguez was in motion that time. I think they were trying to fool him with a little formation there. Yep. And and you have Rodriguez out wide in the slot right. They may try to put him in motion now. Now he goes back the other way. Watch out for him. They want to go to him. There's the throw into the end zone. And incomplete. Well, that was sure-handed Shane Johnson, but he didn't have the sure hands, because back there fighting him fingertip to fingertip in the deep secondary was number 25, and that was Blake Plant, 6 feet 205. So that basically, well, they're going to try a field goal, I think, from the 37, a 47-yarder.
47-yard field goal.
With the wind holding it is Ty Reisner. The snap, the kick, the hold, it is Yes! 47 yards, my friends. What a boot!
Now
10-7. That was a tremendous kick by the young man. And Kenny Reed.
He got it through because he used a correct follow through, and he had just enough power to get it over that upper
Kenny is a senior, 5'11", 140 pounds, wringing wet. And he's probably wringing wet with sweat right now, but he got that one through, a 47-yarder from the 37-yard line. A brilliant kick to put the Johnson Jaguars out by a score of 10-7. We won't have time to take a break because they're back on the field already. So we'll keep it right here.
Gary, scoring update from Comalander Stadium. Roosevelt 6, MacArthur 13.
Whoa. So the Bramers are out of the corral. Roosevelt looked impressive last week.
They did by scoring 62 points on the board.
Maybe Ben Cook has got something to stop young Rashad Owens.
I don't know how, because he's so fast I can't even see him run.
6:03 to go in the quarter, 10-7 after that 47-yard field goal by Landon with his talented right foot. Brandvik. Brandvik.
And he's going to put it deep into the end zone.
Well, Landon could have kicked that one from London. They had good wind behind him. 6:03 to go.
That wind is still flapping. You can still see the wind going.
Yeah, and that wind is so erratic with the flag.
It is.
Here, the ball falls off the tee. We have to get a holder up there now. It's typical of these two teams whenever they meet on the gridiron or on the diamond or any place else they meet.
It is. It is.
You got Ankrum back there on the near side. And it's going to go into the end zone. Ankrum will take it and put a knee down. Purposely this time. No more Collins stuff. And it will be 6:03 to go. 10-7 is the score. Chase Colley is a little ailing tonight. That's the reason, a little ill, and that's the reason that the old man's doing the play-by-play.
Hey, but you're doing a really good job of it, Gary DeLon.
Gary, another score update from Linhoff Stadium. Judson's trailing Steele, 7-14.
Whoa.
Now that's surprising.
That would be, you talk about Knights of the Round Table.
That's very surprising.
And I don't know if Prince Valiant's out there or not. Man. So it will be, here's the handoff. It is Ankrum, 30, 35, 40. Turns on the speed. He's up to the 45 and out of bounds. Young Mr. Ankrum, Staten, 6'2", 190. His daddy was the fastest man in San Antonio about 30 years ago or more when he played for the John Jay Mustangs, and he was a real stud on the track. It's a gain of 19 yards. Wow.
Staten definitely has a lot of speed also, like his dad.
5:55. And Staley gets the snap. Handoff straight up the middle, gets a block, and this time it's going to be Carson Green. And he stopped outside Denver, gets about 5 yards or 4. Making the stop in the middle of that Johnson stack is Brandon Brown. 5:30 to play. 10-7 score. Second and about 5.5. At the Reagan 48-yard line. It's a balanced line. Handoff straight up the middle, and it is Green, and Green gets across the 50, the 45. He's got the first down. Chugs his way for a couple more yards to the 44, and making the stop in the deep secondary after a 7-yard gain is Jaden Langley. 180-pound, 5'11" senior over at left cornerback. Well, he plays cornerback, but sometimes he slips into linebacker. Here's the snap. Goes back to Staley. Throws downfield. There's a man there. He got it. It is Milam one more time down to the 25-yard line. First down. Making the stop in the deep secondary is Jaron Randall, who's playing both ways tonight. That's a 19-yard gain. Oh, my.
Milam has some great hands.
4:36 to go, and here is the drive, keeping it alive against the wind. And you're 18 yards on the far side, going from my left to right. You got a double set to the left with a slot man to the left, and there's a whistle. It could be Reagan calls a timeout. Well, a very wise decision, because breathing down on young on Staley, he had a beat on him, and that was Sam Hall. So it will be 4:23 to go. 10-7 is the score. We are at Hero Stadium tonight. Typical of this great football competition between these two schools. Brenda Shelton, principal over at Ronald Reagan. Gary Comlander, principal at Johnson High School.
(34-28), so not that bad. Only by a touchdown.
Well, that shows that they both score a lot of points.
Both of these teams are very talented, and they have always scored a lot of points against each other and against other teams.
18 yards on the far side of the field. First down at the 25. Staley on the reverse. Ankrum, 25. Down to the 22. He picks up, well, he didn't get much. Only got 3 yards. He's slow getting up. And making the hit over on the far side as he came up from his linebacker's slot was Matt Rodriguez. He's only 5'6", 174 pounds. My goodness. Made a giant tackle there. It's 18 yards on the far side of the field, left to right against the wind. 2nd down and 7 at the 22. And this is Staley. Gets the snap and no place to go. Oh, my goodness. Carson Green is smothered by a quintet of Johnson Jaguars. I mean, there were 5 Jags out of the cage, and one of the leading tacklers was Sam Hall, who said, "Sam Hill, I'm Sam Hall, and I'm going to put you in the corridor right now." 3:24 to go. 10-7 is the score. It will be a loss of about 2 on the play, 3rd and 9.
Carson Green has really stepped up in that running back position.
The 24-yard line. This is Staley back to pass. He's got daylight. He wants to roll to his right. He throws downfield. He's got a man to clear. Ankrum down. He leaps over one man, hurdles down to the 1-yard line. Ankrum finally stopped in the deep secondary, and he saved a touchdown, but he didn't save the first down, and that means it's going to be 1st and goal. Gain of 22, and making the stop was Dexter Wakefield. But that gives the Rattlers a good chance to strike with fangs, dripping now with the touchdown venom. And here's the keep. Touchdown. Staley makes it like a Bill Haley. And he couldn't be stopped on that particular dive play. And getting up very slowly is Alex Gonzalez, who's played a heck of a game at 5'8", 249.5 pounds. So it makes the score now 13-10, and here comes the kicking end in to try to make it a 14-10 ball game. So it will be that tall drink of water for the kick, the blue shoes, and it's up, it's high, and it is now 14-10, as putting it through and true was Nicholas Hernandez, a junior, but he is a slender tower of power when it comes to kicking. 2:35 to play in the quarter. It's now 14-10. The Reagan Rattlers have edged into the front. You're listening to Frost High School football.
The most important team member isn't always playing in the game. Sometimes they hold a clipboard on the sideline. A good coach doesn't just call plays. They instill confidence in the individual and help the team overcome adversity. At Frost, we believe that good coaching in your financial life can accomplish the same thing. After all, if we believe in you and you believe in you, anything is possible. Frost. Opt for optimism.
Back at Hero Stadium for this district barn burner, and it's Reagan 14, Johnson 10. That last score by the Reagan Rattlers, 75 yards in 8 plays, 3:34 off the clock, culminating with a 2-yard run by Travis Staley Once again, Reagan 14, Johnson 10.
Well, it's a game rapidly transforming into an IQ test for defensive coordinators. Boy, and that's pretty good testing right there. So we have kickoff time one more time.
To see if the Johnson Jaguars can score on this drive of offense before halftime.
Against the wind, Nicholas will be kicking it, and we have the returners at the 20. And it's going to go pop-up kick and taken by Rodriguez. He gets to the 35, gets up to the 40. He pulls away from the grasp of one man. And, I'm sorry, it wasn't Rodriguez. It was 27, not 21. And that's Matthew Rodriguez.
Brothers?
I don't know.
He looks exactly like him,
well,
too. Like
he
the
is,
same squatty body.
He's 5'6", 174.
I think they're brothers.
Well, it's a band of brothers, just like at the academy, I guess. Trip set to the left, so. 18 yards in the far side. Nobody wide, facing at front 43. You have a man in motion, going from right to left. He turns now, comes back the other way. And the handoff to Rodriguez. And he bangs his way forward. He gets 4 yards, and they push him back. But he's already got the 4. And the last guy to come in there to hit him was Jacob Bullock. But they give him 5.
With that forward motion.
2:07 to go. Long way from town, though. You're about 65 yards away from, or 55 from a score. It's 2nd down and 5. Look for Reasoner to go to the air with the wind behind him. Snap. Back to pass, chased, he throws downfield, incomplete. Again to Shane Johnson, who's having a little difficulty hanging on to the guided missile there tonight. And defending again was Jaden Staggers. We told you that he was keying on both the receivers. And that's 1:42 on the clock. It didn't take much time off, but it's going to be 3rd down. 51 yards, 13 attempts for Rodriguez, who's averaged 6 yards a tote this season so far. 18 yards up on the far side, going from my right to left. Now you have a double tight out, wide out Jack Cumberlanders over there, along with Randall's in motion, coming right to left. And the pass goes to Shane Johnson, 40, 35, down to the 31-yard line. Shane, come back, Shane, and there he goes in for another big 1st down play.
Come back, Shane. Come back.
Wow, 24 yards, 1:30 on the clock. Exciting ball game here at Hero Stadium. No wonder. These two fine teams coached by two great young coaches. It's Cumberlander in motion. Now goes the other way. Here's Ty Reasoner throwing out on the flank. It's caught, and it's down to the 20, down to the 15. It is Sanders this time, his first reception of the night. That's Kateris Sanders, 6'1", 205. He's a senior, but he brings it down to within good range, 105 to play. They have to hurry up offense here. It's at the 15-yard line. Gain of 16, and they bring in the play. And going out wide right is Randall. Double wide out set to the left. Slot man Cumberlander's in motion. They'll have to hurry to get this play underway. And here's the handoff. Goes to Rodriguez. He's down to the 10. He's out of the 5. He's out of the 2-yard line. He simply ventures into the highway barricade and gets a big 1st down. It's 1st and goal. 40 and ticking down to 39. It's at the 2-yard line, my friends. In motion goes Cumberlander. Slot man right, handoff. And this is the carry by Reasoner. He's in. Ty Reasoner. He just has the CBS News rankings there from Harry Reasoner, from Dan Rather, and from Walter Cronkite right there. 24 seconds on the clock. We're seeing a lot of talent on this field tonight, my
friends. That is a lot of talent, and there's a lot of people with a lot of speed. And that puts them over the Reagan Rattlers, Gary DeLon. 16-14 if they make this PAT.
Yep.
It'll be a 3-point
Brandvik will try
lead.
the PAT. Kick is up.
almost blocked, but he puts it true and through, and it is now 17-14. The Johnson Jaguars have clawed their way out of the cage, and they've taken the lead over the Rattlers in the snake pit, and we'll see who comes out here at halftime with 24 seconds to go before intermission. You're listening to Frost High School Football.
Dr. Eric Kuhl played high school football, and he knows the importance of keeping your body in good condition to maintain perfect health. He also realizes that a portion of that health is maintaining dental hygiene. In today's society, your teeth are as important as eyes and ears. Gum disease can lead to other physical problems, and Dr. Eric Kuhl can advise, counsel, and demonstrate the best methods of dental maintenance. The office accepts most dental insurance policies, and you'll find a new friend, compassionate doctor as well. Call Dr. Eric Kuhl for an appointment at 210-496-1711 on 281. And don't forget, it's cool to have a great smile.
Back at Hero Stadium with another score on the board. The Johnson Jaguars go up on the Reagan Rattlers after a 6-play, 60-yard drive, 2:09 off the clock. A 2-yard run by Ty Reasoner.
Oh, there is speed on the turf tonight. Both sides of the ball. 24 seconds to play. It should be 17-14. They've got 16 on the board. It was good. Here's a line drive kick. It's going to go deep, deep, deep and out of bounds. And it goes into the end zone and onto the track. And it will be 1st and 10 to the 25-yard line. And I'm Gary DeLon along with Chase Cooper Holly and Mark Witherell and Rob Hicks, who is telling me when to turn off my mic and turn it on. So it will be 1st and 10 at the 25-yard line. As the Rattlers, after that brilliant drive, now see themselves trailing at halftime with 24 seconds yet to tick away. This is a handoff up the middle, and it's a good plunge. And carrying the ball is Jonathan Conwell, a 5'10", 175 junior, and down to 10 seconds. He gains 8, but you only have 2. I don't know if they're going to get this play away. 6 seconds, 5. I don't think they're going to go to the restroom in the intermission, where I have to go myself. So it is now. Why is the scoreboard saying 16-14? That kick was good, was it not?
It was good. Both of the referees under the field goal post.
17-14 should be the official score, my friends, here at Hero Stadium. I'm Gary DeLon, your mic side host tonight, with my cohort Chase Holly and our compadre Mark Witherell and our boss Rob Hicks, who tries to be like Aaron's wife. Good. I'm glad they did. That would have bothered me all through the halftime. We are at halftime. It's 17-14. We hope to have some interviews for you here. And we'll have some recap at Hero Stadium. A good crowd of maybe 7,000 to 8,000 here tonight on a windswept night. September 20th of 2019. And on this date, in 1982, NFL players have said they're going to strike after the Packers-Giants game on Monday night. So we won't strike here tonight. We're going to take our pickets and we're going to take our signs and we're going to go to the restroom and the dressing room. We'll be back. You're listening to Frost High School Football.
Some people know me by Smitty. Most people call me Mr. Smith. One day I went to Randolph Brooks Federal Credit Union. Ever since that day, I developed a relationship with Randolph Brooks Federal Credit Union that was second to none. I like RBFCU because they create a stress-free environment. It's all about relationships.
Better banking. It's what we do at RBFCU. Join today at rbfcu.org. Membership eligibility required. Written terms subject to change.
Play the real estate investment game smarter by putting APIA on your team. They are the secret weapon for investors who own 5 or more rental properties. Their custom-built insurance policy allows investors to place their entire real estate portfolio under one policy with one renewal date. Real estate investors win by saving time and improving their cash flow. Call in the experts today. www.apiaprotects.com or call 877-752-2742.
In 2017 alone, 2.8 million U.S. workers were injured on the job. Construction, transportation, manufacturing, oil and gas, and agriculture were among the most dangerous industries for workplace accidents. If you were injured in a workplace accident, call Thomas J. Henry. Thomas J. Henry handles serious workplace accident cases and gets serious results for injured clients. Start your free claim today at tjhlaw.com/radio. That's tjhlaw.com/radio.
San Antonio, Texas.
Back at Hero Stadium, where the Johnson Jaguars lead the Reagan Rattlers 17-14. As we're setting up a quick interview for halftime, we'll go over some of the halftime stats. Reagan, 8 first downs, 102 yards rushing, 83 yards passing for a total of 185. Johnson has 214 total. 168 of that on the ground and 46 by the air. Time of possession in favor of the Johnson Jaguars just by a little bit, 12:48 to 11:12. Third down conversions for Johnson, 3 of 8 for those 7 first downs. Third down conversions for Reagan, 2 of 6 for those 8 first downs. And scoring summary of the first half, Johnson comes out, kicks it off to Reagan. Reagan goes 71 yards in 6 plays, 2:17 off the clock. An 11-yard run by Carson Green makes it a 7-0 Reagan. Johnson strikes back with a 2-play, 90-yard drive as an 83-yard run by Ty Reesner makes the score 7-7. Johnson then adds a field goal, a 47-yarder by Reed Kinney, making the score 10-7. And then finally, Reagan comes back on a 75-yard drive, 8 plays, 3:34 off the clock, a 2-yard run by Travis Staley makes it 14-10. And then right before halftime, a very methodical 6-play, 60-yard drive by Johnson, a 2-yard run by Ty Reesner makes the score 17-14.
I'm your Mike Side host tonight for an ailing Chase Cooper Holly, but he'll return next week at the play-by-play mic. Our special guest here at halftime, one of them anyway, is a gentleman that I've known for, maybe 30 years, I guess, because he's been around coaching that long. Marshall Fleener, who's now the head freshman coach for Central Catholic, and you hit it right on the button when you went down there, didn't you? Marshall Fleener, it's good to see you again.
Good to talk to you too, Gary.
We're seeing some great football tonight, and we knew we would before the game started, but on this date, in 1985, there was a young man named Tommy Kramer, and they were playing the New York Jets. They lost 33-21, but that night TK threw for 436 yards and 3 touchdowns as he played for the Minnesota Vikings. And he's still in town. He still plays golf. You see him quite a bit.
Yeah, when I first came to Lee, he had just left there, and he was playing at Rice, and he'd had a great career there at Robert E. Lee. And then going to Rice, he got there right at the right time because Homer Rice was the coach there, and he had a passing game that fit right into to Tommy's skill set, and he broke a bunch of records. And
he did
it good, and that's what got him to the Vikings because he had been so proficient there at Rice University.
Well, you've seen a lot of great players in your day. You saw some of the great players at Robert E. Lee. Not only was it Tommy Kramer, but you had the Osborne brothers. You had the Tremere twins. You had, Earl Kincaid voted the top guard in Lee history at that time. Was he a right guard or was he a left guard?
Well, he wasn't left out. He was there.
But, he had so many. I'm glad to hear you say Robert E. Lee, because there ain't no school if you don't have a name. And I did the game last week when Lee snapped a 19-game losing streak. Shannon was there, and Mark was there, and Rob was there. And Danny Closer was a happy young man after that 19-game losing streak. And I don't want to get into it, but let me tell you, it was a stupid, asinine, ridiculous decision for the school board, and all 3 of those who pushed it are gone to ever name it the legendary school. Well, I'll tell you how I really feel if you wait a while. But anyway, You coached a lot of players. You've been around.
Well, I got to coach Danny Closer. He was my last quarterback.
And what a great family. John Closer was one of the great officials.
Oh, yes, sir.
Not only in high school, but the Southwest Conference. And John was a good friend. And Danny has carried on that great tradition of athleticism in the Closer family.
Well, and Steve was up at Arlington when Bruce Colley was there.
And speaking of Bruce Colley, he was our guest at the Quarterback Club Tuesday at Barn Door, and you were there because you were one of the coaches when he played at Lee.
Yes, sir.
And he played for people don't realize this, it was Arlington State at the time. And there was a guy named, he didn't play for Chena Gilstrap, but Chena Gilstrap was one of the great coaches of North Texas years ago. And Bruce was a big guy, but he's 6'6.5", weighs about 310 pounds right now.
I think he could play right now.
He could play. He's 57 years old, and he and Holly Colley were there, his lovely wife. They had now 13 siblings, and it's like Julie Andrews singing on The Sound of Music with all those kids. But anyway, you've seen some great ones, and I mean, there have been so many tremendous players over the years that Lee had, and you've been around with great coaches. And was there any particular experience that you remember that sticks out in your mind?
Well, I know they beat Churchill in 75 and 77, and whoever won back then was the only team that got to go in the playoffs. In both years, we went all the way to the state semifinals. In both years, we played Port Neches Groves in the Astrodome. In both years, I was scouting, and I was somewhere else.
You didn't get to see the game.
And back then, you had to call after the game. And I said, we could beat either one of these teams tonight. And they said, well, we're not going to play them because we hadn't scored yet. that hurt, but it was a great time to be at Robert E. Lee, and they taught me as a young coach how to put a program together. And that's when I left there and went down to Central, I just installed the Robert E. Lee program that I'd learned under Coach Sawyer. So.
Coach Roy Sawyer, Marty Shaughnessy was on staff, Mike Crocker was on staff, John Ferraro was on staff. So many great coaches in those days.
It was good. It was good. It was a great time for me to be there.
Last week, we watched the Roosevelt Rough Riders under Matt Carroll, and they looked so impressive. But what was that last score you had, Rob, on Roosevelt? They were trailing.
7-0.
At halftime, they're tied 13-13 with MacArthur over at Conolander.
And last week, they looked unbeatable with Rashad Owens running for 156 yards. But anyway, it's always good to see you, and I see you quite a bit at Quarterback Club. I know you were there Tuesday. You were there for Dave Wetzel as well. And there's such a fraternity in the coaching ranks.
Definitely.
It's like they say the band of brothers in the service. Well, in coaching, there is this stick-to-itiveness that you guys are like glue. You stick together. And one of the great guys who exemplified that was the late Corky Nelson, because everybody loved Corky.
He was one of my first mentors. He came to Alamo Heights the year after I graduated, so anytime I came back to San Antonio, went out to Alamo Heights to visit my old coaches. Coach Jim Nelson was there.
Yes.
But Corky was there, and he was a young coach back then, and I wanted to coach, so I always asked him, well, what is it like to be a young coach? And I know he'd already started his family, and so he'd been my mentor for a long time.
And he went up to Waco, and there was Pete Fredenberg and Grant Taff, and as I say, it's a great fraternity, and it carries on all across the country, not only in Texas.
Oh, yes, sir.
Marshall, it's good to see you, and thanks for coming in and putting up with my nonsense. But I'll see you next week. I think we have Shipley from UT next Tuesday at the Barn Door.
Yeah, I'll be sure to wear my A&M shirt.
Well, I'm going to wear my OU cap too.
I've got one of those too. I'm an Okie.
All right. Where'd you go to high school?
I went to school at Alamo Heights, but I was born in Tulsa, Broken Arrow, Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Well, I went to Capitol Hill my first year, and they were a great power in high school football.
Okay.
All right. Marshall Fleener, the varsity head football coach for freshmen at Central Catholic. And, you've got, let's see, who else have you got down there on staff with you now? Is Don Bird still down there?
No. Don Griffith, that coached at Northeast, and Ernie Paws are both coaching with me with the freshmen, but the head coach there is Mike Santiago that started
Mike
the program,
Santiago
started the program at Incarnate Word.
Yes, he did, and he's a heck of a guy, too.
He's got some really good coaches. He's got McGarity down there and a couple of other guys that actually played pro football. So the kids are getting some good.
Plus, they've got new facilities.
Yes, we have a brand new facility that's just fantastic. It's really been nice.
Thank you, Marshall. It's good to see
sir.
you. And tell your lovely wife, I just got to say hello to her a minute ago, so tell her to keep you in line.
If I see her, I'll tell her.
We're going to watch a little bit of the band and come back with Earl Kincaid of Robert E. Lee Stardom when we come back on Gary DeLon Sports.
Whenever a young driver leaves for school, a game, or drives to the mall, parents want a peace of mind knowing where their youngster is located any time of day or night and when they'll be returning home. GPS of Texas provides that parental peace of mind with the high-tech tracking technology provided by Blake Stevens Company that can trace a vehicle from coast to coast and even to Alaska and Hawaii. A feeling of security and safety when GPS of Texas installs that device. Call Blake at 210-587-7634.
The most important team member isn't always playing in the game. Sometimes they hold a clipboard on the sideline. A good coach doesn't just call plays. They instill confidence in the individual and help the team overcome adversity. At Frost, we believe that good coaching in your financial life can accomplish the same thing. After all, if we believe in you and you believe in you, anything is possible. Frost. Opt for optimism.
In 2003, while playing in a football game for San Marcos Academy, Chris Canales, already offered a college scholarship, was involved in a tackle that transformed his life forever. He suffered a spinal cord injury and was left physically paralyzed, but Chris didn't allow the debilitating injury to affect his involvement with football. Since that time, Chris and Eddie have formed Gridiron Heroes, and now they have the support of many of the college coaches around the country, an organization helping players and families recover from catastrophic injuries. Gridiron Heroes. You can contact them at www.gridironheroes.org or call 210-849-9250.
Halftime, great ball game brewing, 17-14 as the Johnson Jaguars right now are on top, but anything can happen when these two teams meet with the speed, the talent, and the coaching that they have. And speaking of coaching, this guy, not only was he a great player, he's a heck of a coach. He was the first coach at the Reagan Rattler Kingdom, and he was at Churchill before that, so he's been a friend for I don't know how long, since he was about 16. And he was voted as the top guard in Robert E. Lee football history. I don't know if that's still true.
I got to correct you a little bit. It wasn't a guard. I may look like a guard now, but I was a cornerback back then.
Oh, you were? Okay. Well, I thought they said that you were a lineman. Maybe that, maybe it was a Wichita lineman I was thinking of.
No.
But it's great to have you here, and we see these two teams, and boy, they are so talented and so fast.
I'll tell you what, both these teams are super ball clubs. They got excellent talent. They're both coached well. It's like two of the Northeast powerhouses playing it out, and it's good to see a great crowd out here. And I don't come to quite as many games as I used to right now, but this is a good one to go to.
Now, I want to just mention this briefly. You were involved in a tournament today. You and Marshall both, and Jerry Kumalander he's upstairs, and Lyndall Watson helped put it on out at Canyon Springs. What was the tournament for?
It's a Northeast Foundation. It's to help raise money for the foundation, which basically does things for Northeast. It just kicks off things that need to be done.
So Burkholder was there too, no doubt, right?
Jimmy was not there.
Oh,
he was out of town this week, so Jimmy wasn't there.
Who were some of the coaches there besides the ones we named?
A lot of the Northeast coaches were there. A lot of the principals were there at it, and then outside organizations. We played with a couple, a man and a woman from Laurel Ridge who donate their time to Northeast and do.
And where does the money all go?
It's called the Northeast Foundation. It's just a great
so whatever various entity needs it, I guess.
Yes. Yes.
A lot of football games under your belt, and you go back to the days when Lee was the powerhouse, and Kramer, and as I mentioned earlier, you had Osborne and the Tremere twins, and you had so many great athletes. Pat Rocket, they can't leave him out, and so many great memories. And I guess if you wanted to, you could probably entertain everybody with a week's story of tales and
great football fabrications.
I can tell a lot of tales. Some of them maybe not on air, but there's a lot of good ones. And you mentioned some great players there. We went to the state finals in 1971 and got beat by Wichita Falls, and then 2 years later, after I was gone, they went back and beat Wichita
71,
Falls.
right?
Yeah, they turned it around and won in 71.
And ironically enough, that was the first game I ever did.
Is that right?
In San Antonio was Lee against Churchill. It was a tie.
We tied
and
7-7.
7-7. I tell you, it was a quarterback for Churchill, Tully Blanchard Jr.
Yes, sir.
And Churchill was 8-0-2 because they'd already tied earlier, and so that's why Lee went to the playoffs.
To go we only had one tie and they had two.
They had two, and then you won the state championship, or Lee did that year.
I'll tell you what, they had a Super Ball club back then too.
They did.
They had one then.
I see. Fuller was their running back.
Rusty Fuller. You got him, yeah.
And
Rusty's a good friend of mine still today.
And I go back. My first neighbor in San Antonio was Ez Corley.
I know, first coach there.
And first coach at Churchill. And then Raymond Rapp after that.
I can thank Ez for getting me started with insurance back when I first started working, putting a little bit away.
He was my insurance guy, too. He's my first neighbor in San Antonio. So there's so many great memories. And do you have, we asked this to Marshall, some of the members he had, was there a particular game that is more prevalent in your mind?
Oh, man, there was a bunch of them, but
another name I forgot, Richard Ojeda was on that team.
Richard Ojeda. He was a sophomore that year, and he was a heck of a player. Made him a really good player because my senior year, we did not go to the state finals. That was I went.
Who was coach? Was that John Ferraro?
It was still, John was there my whole career as a head coach.
That people don't know this maybe, but there was such a sad ending to his great career in Northeast because he was at Roosevelt at the time, and it was a famous clipboard incident. Right. People don't realize that what happened. He was trying to make a point. He wasn't trying to be abrasive or aggressive. He threw the clipboard and it hit
caromed off a wall and hit
and came back and hit a player in the head and cut his head right here. Right.
And if you ever played for John, you know that
he was a very emotional guy.
He was an emotional guy.
Sergeant in the Army, ex-sergeant.
And he would never, on purpose, do that.
And he got as a tough decision Richard Middleton had to make that night, and I'll never forget it.
It's a decision that basically. He did throw the clipboard. It was not meant for that, but
it was
truly.
But I'm not going to get into names or anything. But the youngster. Now, if that had been my dad, and that happened to me, he'd say, "Well, that's just an accident, Coach. Don't worry about it." But the particular father that day, he made a big issue out of it and continued to berate Ferraro. So that's what happened. But anyway. There are a lot of great stories in this district.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of great ones. A lot of lessons learned by both adults and students, and those lessons stay with you for the rest of your life.
And how about the name Linus Bear?
Linus is a super young. I say young man. He's older than me.
60-some years old.
But every time I see Linus, he's as good a person as he was back when he played. Great guy.
The greatest high school game of the 20th century, according to Dallas Morning News, was held at Alamo Stadium, November of 1963, a week after JFK was assassinated. 26,000 fans jammed Alamo Stadium, and 55-48. Linus scored 47 points, and Warren McVeigh scored all 48 of the Brackenridge points.
It was a track meet. It was back and forth track meet. I was there, but I was not a player. I was a youngster sitting in the stands watching that one.
I asked Jerry Royal about Warren McVeigh. He said, I wanted to recruit him, but he didn't have the grades.
Yeah.
But he did recruit Linus Bear, and Linus went on to UT after his brother went to OU, was on the football team at Oklahoma. So, and his dad was a math teacher at Robert E. Lee in his 70s. So. But a lot of great memories, Earl. We could all sit down and just stay up all night talking about it, couldn't we?
We definitely could. And while we're talking about those things, Gary, I want to say thanks to you for everything you've done for many years for high school football and high school sports in general.
Oh, well, thank you, Earl.
For everything you've done.
This year marks my 60th year to do high school football.
It's unbelievable.
I got a call back in 1960. It said, this is Bill Crowdis at WFAA. We want to do high school football. We've never done it. It was a powerful station.
So they hired me to move to Dallas, and I did from Oklahoma City. I'd worked with Chick Hearn till I was badly injured, and I moved back to Oklahoma City. But I did it at WFAA, and then one of the first quarterbacks I remember was Jerry Rome, who played for his dad at Sunset High School. Mike Livingston played at South Oak Cliff. There was Jim Batchelor at Adamson. Lon Oakley, you know Lon. He was at Adamson at the time. And then there was Joe Simpson was at one of the schools. Elmer Crowley, Chuck Curtis, who just
throw out more names than I guarantee you. You know them all.
There was a tremendous memories, tremendous days. I'm only 39, but Earl, my gosh, it's good to see you. Don't stay away so long.
I won't. I'm starting to come back and watch. So I got away from it, and I had my fifth grandchild and first granddaughter. So we've been spending a lot of time with those grandkids.
Tell Dick Lowry didn't get any of my sympathy at all.
I will tell him. I'll tell him that at all.
Quick story. The night
Judson game. I know what you're going to talk about.
And I'll never forget.
And he got off the ground that high. I promise you, that high.
And I said, "Oh my Lord! I think the coach just broke his legs or something." You know, he jumped up, and there came the ambulance and the train.
He tore both patella tendons.
It was unbelievable.
And he got at least 3 inches off the ground.
And he was the brother of Alan Lowry, who was playing for the Dallas Cowboys. So, golly, it's good to see you, buddy.
You too, Gary. Thanks.
Earl Kincaid, Hall of Famer, Lee Starr, voice from out of the past, and a great coach. I'm Gary DeLon. Chase Holly and Mark and Rob and I will be back in a moment, and maybe we'll get to see some band out on the field.
Coming home means a lot of things to a lot of people. It's a place where you can kick off your shoes or even kick it up a notch. As the #1 mortgage lender in Texas for credit unions, you can trust RBFCU when buying your new home. We'll be there for you every step of the way. So whether it's buying your first home or financing your forever home, you can count on us to make your dream come true. To apply online and for complete details, visit rbfcu.org. Some restrictions may apply. Loan subject to credit approval. RBFCU is an equal housing lender.
In 1974, it began as a small printing company with 3 employees and the hope for the future. Today, Eagle Print has soared into the business community with 30 employees and the most efficient high-tech and graphic equipment in San Antonio. Maybe you need to print up a business plan for your next venture, or you might need a new marketing brochure for a top client. Ray's been involved with planning and designing such things for many, many years. His business cards are true marquees for business, professional, and personal use. That's Eagle Print, located at 8938 Broadway, north of Loop 410. Call 822-1908.
According to the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, motorcyclists are 26 times more likely to die in a crash compared to other motorists. Motorcycle accidents can cause severe injuries, from road rash and broken bones to spinal injuries, brain injuries, and death. If you or a loved one were injured in a motorcycle crash, call Thomas J. Henry. Thomas J. Henry handles serious motorcycle accidents and gets serious results for injured clients. Start your free claim today at tjhlaw.com/radio.
San Antonio, Texas.
Back at Hero Stadium with the score, Johnson Jaguars 17, Reagan Rattlers 14 in this first game of the district season. And Chase, we kind of called it, and you called it especially when you talked about Ty Reasoner's speed, that breakaway touchdown, and his team is right now ahead by the slimmest of margins, but they're still ahead at halftime. Big deal today.
What they do, Ankram's a real anchor for them. Ankram, get it? Mm-hmm. And Johnson Jaguars, the anchors for them are, Shane Johnson making those catches downfield. Ty Reasoner with that speed like we saw as he just broke away from all of the defense and he just left them in the dust.
And just like you said before the game, but also on that big run, Reasoner did a perfect fake into the running back, and he didn't have anybody touch him. And when you've got nobody touching you and that speed, all you're going to see at the end of the runway is the end zone, and that's what happened in the first half. Right now, the Johnson Jaguar band is on the field. We've already seen the Reagan Rattler band, and these bands are just amazing, Chase. These bands take up the whole field. There are just so many young men and women out there, and of course they've been working their tails off before the school year started as well to get out there and give the fans a show at halftime.
It's very impressive to see all the props that they bring onto the field with these orange ramps, elevated ramps, and they put the musical instruments inside of them, and then they have these little carts, and it's just very interesting to see all these kids and how they can go into all these different spots and remember all these different things and just compile it into about 5 minutes or 6 minutes of showtime.
Well, they do work hard, and we're almost ready to kick off the second half, but give you something to look forward to as you're going. Time, not just the football team, but that band at halftime is amazing to see. I love it every time I go there, and every time their halftime show is different. But these guys work just as hard as the football teams when it comes to that.
They definitely do, and they definitely put in the hours after dark sometimes. I hear the band at my school practicing after everyone's gone home, and they're still there at 8 o'clock banging on the drums, playing the trumpets, playing the trombones. It's just crazy to me how these kids are able to, maintain their grades when they're staying up so late to practice these after extracurricular activities.
Oh, it's amazing, and it's just what it is in Texas under the lights on Friday nights. High school football, the national sport of Texas. And we're going to come back in just a second after we hear from these sponsors, and we'll be ready for the second half kickoff. But this is Frost High School football.
The most important team member isn't always playing in the game. Sometimes they hold a clipboard on the sideline. A good coach doesn't just call plays. They instill confidence in the individual and help the team overcome adversity. At Frost, we believe that good coaching in your financial life can accomplish the same thing. After all, if we believe in you and you believe in you, anything is possible. Frost. Opt for optimism.
APIA specializes in real estate investor insurance. For years, investors have struggled managing individual insurance policies. So APIA built a program to put investors' properties under one insurance policy. They've been helping investors save time and improve cash flow nationwide since 2001. APIA has the flexibility to meet the unique demands of both investors and financial institutions. Call in the real estate asset protection experts today, www.apiaprotects.com, or call 877-752-2742.
Back at Hero Stadium with a halftime score of Johnson 17, Reagan 14. Mark Witherell alongside Chase Holly, and we're going to throw it to Rob Hicks for some halftime scores from around the area.
Roosevelt MacArthur at halftime, 13 tied up. Judson and Steele. Judson is trailing at halftime to Steele, 14-21. New Braunfels Canyon is actually trailing the New Braunfels Unicorns, 14-21. Clemens and Smithson Valley are scoreless at half. East Central and San Marcos 28 tied up. Lavernia is trailing Land Passes 14-35. Come on, Bears. And Alamo Heights, Chase, they're going to get their first win at halftime. They're 42-0 over Kennedy.
Wait a minute, you're giving them a win already and it's just halftime?
Well, we've had a history of beating Kennedy.
So at the half, and the teams have come back onto the field. As you remember, Reagan won the toss, elected to defer, so they will receive the second half kickoff as the Johnson Jaguars will be kicking off from south to north with the wind helping them. So getting ready to kick off the second half here from Hero Stadium.
And kicking off the ball for the Johnson Jags will be that slender Reed Kinney. So the Johnson Jags will be kicking it, and the Reagan Rattlers are going to have to pull something out of that snake pit offensive playbook to see if they can score on the Jaguars. And right now, we don't know what they talked about at halftime, but I'm pretty sure that it was a chewing out for the Reagan Rattlers. And here's the kick, and it is going straight back into the end zone and bouncing out. And so that'll place the ball at the 25-yard line for the Reagan Rattlers to see if they can have a scoring drive in this second half of the football game.
Yeah, I'm sure the Reagan Rattlers were told we need to control the clock, control the offensive line, and let your skill positions not only do you have Travis Staley back there, but you've got some really good receivers on the outside. Let the skill positions do their work, but you got to control that offensive line.
So it'll be Staley back, and I think the junior running back's back in, unless that is, nope, that's Carson Green.
Yeah, that freshman running back is really showing us something as he gains 5 yards on the play, bringing up a 2nd and 5. First play of the second half.
So the Reagan Rattlers are going to have to find something to punch through this Johnson Jaguar defense. So out wide right will be number 20. I think that's Jacob Cho. And here's Staley with the keep, and he's trying to get somewhere, but he has nowhere to go, and that'll be a loss of 1 for Staley.
And I'll tell you why, because he blitzed, and it was Dexter Wakefield. He blitzed out of his defensive end position and stopped Staley before he could get any momentum.
That's a good observation, Gary DeLon. I'm glad you're on your toes today.
Well, I hated to.
Because I'm not.
Yeah. Well, I know you're feeling tough. So it will be 3rd down now, still a long 5.
With Ankrum on that wide left. Here's Staley. Dropping back to pass. He's got a man, but he throws
bad
way
pass.
Behind.
Yeah, he really misfired on that one. How did he do that?
I don't know.
Because that's not Staley. I mean, he's a baseball player. He knows how to put it right on line, and it was intended for Zane Raba.
Senior.
Yeah, he wasn't even near it. It was behind him about 1.5 yards. So 10:43 to play, and now the first possession of the second half. And right now, I would say that they're out of sync, Chase.
I think they're out of sync for sure. And here we go with this rugby-style kick, and
it's a bad kick.
It again. I really don't understand why they keep going to rugby-style kick if they're going to shank it every time.
Luke Hoggett is a great athlete, and I know he's got a better foot than that. I just think it's a bad decision to kick the old rugby style. I don't. All right. Well, he had a 5-yarder in the first half. So that's 13 yards on 2 punts. Now it'll be 1st and 10. It's going to be at the it's at the 38-yard line.
Randall on the left with Shane Johnson wide right as he puts Comalander in motion. And here's the snap. Ty Reasoner hands it off to Justin Rodriguez. Justin Rodriguez up to the 36-yard line.
Defender, the great run as he hurdled over the tackler, as waiting for him with waiting arms was Richard Jones. He just simply hurdled him, but of course Jones brought him down.
2nd and 8 with 10 minutes, 16 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. It looks like Johnson Jaguars have the momentum right now, Gary DeLon. What do you think?
Well, they do, and of course they've got the wind. If they should score another TD with the wind, that would be another factor, as the wind has never died yet. It's still very, very powerful. And it's a 3-man front, Chase.
Comalander in motion again as he goes back to the regular side of the right side, and it's trips on the right. And here's Ty Reasoner with the keep, and he is trying to gain some yards, and he gets brought down at the 32-yard line.
So it'll be a 3rd down and still about 4 yards.
As Johnson pushes through, maybe they can get this 3rd down conversion right here, setting them up for a scoring drive. 3 of 8 for Johnson on 3rd down conversions. As Shane Johnson goes out wide right with Comalander in the slot position and Randall on the left. As Reasoner puts Comalander in motion as he goes over to the left side. Here's Reasoner. Handoff to Justin Rodriguez. Oh,
and there's that same play. Look out. There goes Ty.
He's to the 10. He's to the 5. He's into the end zone.
Ty can fly. Wow.
He can fly.
He had a clear highway in front of him before he hit the toll road.
For that 32-yard run?
Man. I tell you, you got Ankrum and Reasoner and Randall and Johnson. You got so many kids that can fly out there. 4.5 speed. Some may be faster than that.
So it'll be Kenny to see if he can put it up for the PAT. And the boot is up high, far, and good. Making it 24-14. With 9 minutes, 4 seconds left in the third quarter, you're listening to Frost High School Football.
While some banks are slow to approve auto loans, RBFCU is hitting the gas. With one of San Antonio's lowest loan rates and fast online approval, you'll have more time and money to live life your way. Apply today at rbfcu.org. Subject to credit approval, rates and terms subject to change. Other restrictions may apply. Better rates. It's what we do at RBFCU.
Quickly back at Hero Stadium, a quicker score by the Johnson Jaguars right out of halftime. Only a minute 39 on the drive. 36 yards on 3 plays. Set up by that bad punt by Reagan. 32-yard run by Ty Reasoner makes it 24-14. That's Reasoner's 3rd touchdown on the ground tonight.
And that was just a great scoring drive by the Jags. As you can see, we talked about it at halftime. Reasoner is one of those anchors for the Johnson Jags, and it seems to be that there's going to have to be a holder for this kickoff as the wind is still whipping. Hasn't died down once this game, nor at halftime.
Well, you got speed back there to receive again. Ankrum is back there.
But Johnson Jag has that anchor, and that's Reasoner, that's Rodriguez, that's Randall, and that's Shane Johnson with the big plays in the backfield and also the big plays down the field. And here's the boot. And it is going to go up high and deep and far out of the end zone. Yep, it's going to roll out of the end zone.
17 miles an hour is the wind gust. So that shows you. And you know, when you say gusts, it could be up to 30 miles an hour with a gust.
It definitely could. That's a great possibility, Gary DeLong.
10-point lead, JC. 24-14.
10-point lead. The Johnson Jags are showing those big razor teeth to the Reagan Rattlers as the Reagan Rattlers are starting to pull those fangs in. Here's Staley with the double wide out set left. Staley dropping back to pass. He's got an Ankrum on the right, and he is caught. And I think the ball is going to be marked at the 32-yard line.
He's got a litter. He's got a litter of tacklers there. All the Jags. And he just waved at some of the guys on the bench as he went back.
32 now.
Hey, that's the first time they've had a full house backfield shotgun.
That is. Here's Staley, an isolated receiver on the left, and here's the handoff, and that's Codwell, and there's a flag on the play. Codwell could have had the first down there.
Yeah, I think he did have enough for it, but I don't think they.
So that'll be a first down for the Reagan Rattlers due to the offside by the Jags. As Jonathan Conwell is back in. The Reagan, they're definitely going to take the flag, which will make it first and 10.
At the 37.
Reagan Rattlers switching tailbacks every drive on offense that they have to try to keep them rested. Here's Staley as he hands it off to Conwell, and Conwell has nowhere to go as there's about 5 Jags to meet him at the offensive line of scrimmage.
And the first one of the, well, he was first and part of the real huddle group, and that was Nicholas Foley.
They're going to give him a gain of 2 on that play, which is somewhat generous. So it'll be 2nd and 8 with 7 minutes, 33 seconds left, and the clock is ticking in the third quarter. Ankrum on the right side. Here is Staley dropping back to pass. He's looking towards his left. Now he's rolling to his left. Now he's keeping the ball, and he's putting on that speed and those boosters, and he's going to run out of bounds at about the 49-yard or 50-yard line, making that a first down.
Now Staley showed his speed on that particular option.
He definitely did, and he's playing cautious as not to get hit or try to prevent to get hit.
He was looking deep downfield for Ankrum, but he got a dozen.
So it'll be Ankrum on the right with Milam on the left. Here's Staley as he hands it off to Green. And Green's trying to get to that right side, and he's going to be knocked out of bounds at the 49-yard line.
Oh, you had another. They're gang tackling tonight. They you had Justin Kirk and you had Joseph Hernandez both combining.
So that'll make it 2nd and 10 for the Rattlers.
7:13 to go in the third. 24-14.
The Rattlers are going to have to get something together if they want to beat this Johnson Jag defense. As Ankrum goes out right with Milam on the left. Staley drops back, and he's looking to Ankrum, and Ankrum's being covered.
A great defensive play. That's one of the best plays of the night.
Willie Branch on that defensive play.
And Branch went out on the limb to make that, I'll tell you.
He definitely did.
Wow.
He extended his arms fully, and he was there for that ball. He wanted
because Ankrum had 2 steps on him.
Ankrum did have 2 steps on him. Because Ankrum's fast.
7:06 to go.
So it'll be a double wideout set left, single set right. 2 of 7 for third down conversions for the Reagan Rattlers. Here's Staley dropping back to pass, looking to his left, and he's got a man, but he just throws it low.
Again, he misfired, and he's off target tonight. Carter Campbell was his intended receiver. Staley is not his normal self tonight.
No, he is not. He doesn't look like he's firing as fast as he has in the past, and he also doesn't look like his target zone is on point.
Well, plus the fact he's getting a tremendous rush.
And that too. And that doesn't help. So it'll be Randall and Shane
And you're in a
Johnson.
63D right now. You got a 6-man front. The race is on.
Snap is bad.
And my goodness, back trying to kick the ball was the place kicker, Hernandez. And just a bad snap, and it misfired from the very beginning. It was like trying to shoot a shotgun with a 22.
Shoot a shotgun with a 22. Where do you come up with this stuff? I don't okay.
Here we go.
I thought it's dove season. All right, double wideout set right with a single set left.
Johnson.
Here's Rodriguez in motion. Ty Reasoner dropping back to pass as he looked to his left. Now to the center, and that's Justin Rodriguez. And that was
almost intercepted, and he had his hands on it, but he couldn't hang on to it, and that was Jacob Bullock. No relation to Sandra, but it's a heck of a play.
Sandra Bullock. How do I know that name?
She's a beautiful movie actress. Lives up at near Wimberley, Texas.
Oh, really? That's why I know her then. So it'll be Shane Johnson wide right with Sharon Randall on the left. Justin Rodriguez on Reasoner's side as he puts a man in motion. Here's Reasoner as he hands it off to Justin Rodriguez, and it's a dead play. And Justin Rodriguez, that's going to be a loss of 3 for him.
That's his first loss of the night.
I think that was just a miscommunicated play, Gary DeLon, as I'm trying to talk out my nose. 6 minutes, 30 seconds left in the third quarter.
Well, you sound like Jimmy Durante, so I understand. It's 6:25 to go.
All right, Gary DeLon. So it'll be Shane Johnson on the left, with Jaron Randall going out wide right, and that trip set right.
Going right to left, south to north.
Here's Reasoner. As he rolls to his right, he's looking to his right, and he sees a man, and it is going to be thrown and incomplete.
Jaron Randall.
Jaron Randall just doesn't have enough yards to work with on that sideline, as he is almost always on his tippy toes as he catches the ball or tries to catch the ball.
Tippy toes?
Tippy toes. You know what those are?
Nope.
Oh, really? I thought you were on those every
Matthew Scannell was the defender. And here's a field goal with the wind.
And they're going to just bring on the rush. Reagan Rattlers getting lined up, and we'll see if he can put it in. He did.
Holding is Ty Reasoner.
And it is going to be short.
Yeah. That's a good attempt. That's a Jim Arness attempt with a Mickey Rooney result.
That was a good attempt.
Way short.
But he had that wind that's blowing like that crosswind, Gary DeLon.
Yeah,
And
that's true. It is now. It's blowing from the southwest and whipping. And by the way, this afternoon, O'Connor won that continuation of the game last night when the contest was stopped because of lightning dancing around the stadium.
And the harsh wind and rain that came. So be Staley with Ankrum on the right. Here's the handoff to Carson Green as he is brought down at the 31-yard line. That'll be a gain of 2 for him, so it'll be 2nd and 8.
And at the bottom of the stack is, again, Brandon Brown. Man, how many times have we mentioned his name this year already? Brandon Brown. He goes downtown.
To where?
Any place he wants to. He's big enough. 240 pounds.
That's true. You can just bust
6'2". I think he's a candidate for all district, in my opinion.
So here will be Staley as he hands it off to Carson Green, and Carson Green's got room, and he is going to get the first down and a little bit more.
Yeah, he gets all the way up to the 48-yard line.
And that is the importance of keeping those legs moving as he runs the ball towards that left side.
Sam Hall makes the stop. He made the stop to keep from gaining more yardage for young Mr. Green.
And here's a snap by Staley, and he gives it off to Carson Green again, and Carson Green's going to do the same thing and get the first down once again.
At the 44.
As he just goes up that left side, no one's covering him. No one's there to meet him on that defensive line.
When I see a guy named Green, I think of Aaron Green. I think of Tony Green. I think of all the Andrew Green, all the Green boys. Another one. Look at him go.
I think of John Deere Green.
I think of Mean Joe Green. Gained a 7 on that one. First down yardage. How many first downs now is that?
So here's Staley handing it off to Carson Green once again, and Carson Green getting the first down.
Finally stopped, hitting him low. That's about the only way you're going to stop him. Making the stop again for the Jags is Sam Hall. He's 6'1", junior.
They're just trekking up the field with Carson Green in control of the running game.
The kid's a freshman.
He is, and that's very impressive, Gary DeLon. As a scout, I would be looking at this already. I know you're not allowed to scout freshmen or talk to them or anything like that, but I would start looking. Here's Staley dropping back to pass. He's looked to his right. He's got Ankrum, and Ankrum goes up for it and makes the catch, and there's going to be a flag on that play.
It's complete, so if it's an interference call, they'll reject it because going up with Ankrum and fighting him for every lace was Willie Branch at the 8-yard line, so that's a big gain of some 27 yards. And that's first down number 17.
And that will be a pass interference on Willie Branch.
24-14, but it's about to change.
So that'll set it up for the Reagan Rattlers to maybe get a touchdown on this
first and go
drive. So it'll be Ankrum on the right.
Power eye, or the pistol as they call it. Here's the hand. Oh, Green is stopped this time at the line of scrimmage. Guess who? BB, Brandon Brown, 6'2", 244 pounds of solid muscle. No gain, second down. He has really dominated the defensive down 3.
I wonder why. Do you see his speed?
Oh, boy, was that a great read there?
That was a great read.
Yeah, Justin is playing D now, as Randall has also been playing both ways. But he smelled that out, and he lit the candle just in time. 2:50 to go in the third.
So the Johnson Jags are going to see if they can
third and go.
Try to hold off the Reagan Rattlers to a field goal maybe. And as Rodriguez comes in at safety for the Jags,
Here's the rush. The rush is on Staley.
The rush, and they're going to be able to
smothered
hold him.
and sweltered and downed. Oh, my.
And that is an impressive hold by the Johnson Jags on defense.
Yep.
And this is where the Reagan Rattlers are going to see if they go for a field goal, and they will be going for a field goal.
It was Joseph Hernandez, Justin Kirk. They were the cat's meow on that one.
The cat's meow. 26-yard field goal attempt, right?
By Hernandez. He's you talk about a guy that's tall and lanky.
He's got the same cleats as me, Gary DeLon. Look at those blue cleats. Look at them. And it's good. It's up high, far, and good.
20-yard boot.
To make it 24-17, 1 minute, 49 seconds left in the third quarter. You're listening to Frost High School Football.
Company cars, trucks, SUVs, vans, and fleet vehicles are involved in thousands of accidents every year. An accident with a company vehicle is not just another car accident. If you were injured in a company vehicle accident, call Thomas J. Henry. Thomas J. Henry handles serious company vehicle accident cases and gets serious results for injured clients. Start your free claim today at tjhlaw.com/radio. That's tjhlaw.com/radio.
San Antonio, Texas.
Back at Hero Stadium with the score, Johnson 24, Reagan 17, as the last field goal by Nicholas Hernandez, a 26-yard field goal after the scoring drive of 3 minutes and 5 seconds, 9 plays, 63 yards. Johnson 24, Reagan 17.
The Johnson Jags, as Gary DeLon pointed out, have really improved their defense as they are making plays, making stops, and reading the Reagan Rattlers defense really well.
It's called maturity, and they have really learned a lot in the first 3 games.
They definitely have, and you know, sometimes it helps to have those non-district games that, you know, can show you the ropes of the game at the varsity level, and you can come in and dominate district.
Hernandez will kick it away.
Lining up in a pooch kick formation, and it is a pooch kick as it goes down to the 30-yard line, and it is received by number 27, and I think that's Rodriguez, but I don't know. Matthew Rodriguez is his name. He plays linebacker, but he's going to be on the return there. Return of 3 yards for him, so that'll make it 1st and 10, the ball being at the 32-yard line, and we'll see if the Jags can put in another touchdown as it goes.
I
from
see
my right
cars
to left.
leaving the parking lot. Why they would be leaving now is beyond me.
Well,
this is still the third quarter, my friends.
Why they
turn around? Jeez.
It's not even the fourth quarter. So that'll be a flag on the play.
It's going to be a legal procedure.
And that is just
against the Jags.
So
it's been almost a penalty-free game tonight.
It almost has, and that's why it's gone so quickly.
Just 2 penalties for each team being accepted, so that is impressive.
And that means that they have some discipline and they've matured. And here's Reasoner with the handoff to Rodriguez as he bursts through that line, and he gains back those 5 yards and more that he lost on that penalty.
Picked up 9.
So now that'll make it 2nd and 8. Rodriguez definitely has those fleet feet and that agility, putting him above some of the other tailbacks in the district.
He'd carried 55 times coming into tonight's ball game.
So it'll be double wide out set right with Randall on the left, isolated. Here's Comelander in motion. Reasoner handing it off to Rodriguez, and Rodriguez breaks left, and as he makes that move, and he's got the first down, and he's going to be pushed out of bounds. At the 40.
You got to let him go.
4-yard line. And
he was 3 yards out of bounds.
That was 3 yards out of bounds, and that was a late hit.
Yeah, you had Jacob Bullock and Richard Jones making some almost penalty decision. 80 yards, 18 attempts. Now
for Rodriguez.
Comelander thought he was coming out, but he stays in, and Katera Sanders is out.
So it'll be Randall and Comelander on the right side with Shane Johnson on the left. Here's Comelander in motion. going towards the left side. Here's Reasoner. Handing it off to Rodriguez, and Rodriguez has that hole.
Look
He's going
out.
to put on the Jets, and he's to the 30. He's to the 20. They're trying to chase him down 10-5, and he's into the touchdown. Ooh.
You sound like you came from that YWCA on that play.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do. But do you want me to sound like this, or do you want me to sound entertaining? It's your pick. 52 seconds left in the third quarter, as that makes the score 30-17 with the Jags in the lead, as I get a little excited. And here will be the follow-up PAT attempt by Kenny.
Kenny Reed is a good kicker.
He is a good kicker. And here's the boot, and it is up high, far, and it is good to make it 31-17 with 52 seconds left in the
And
third
the Shockers brewing here at Hero Stadium, my friends.
You are listening to Frost High School Football.
Every San Antonio family has a dream to live in their own castle. There's one San Antonio real estate expert who can fulfill that dream, and he has provided many wonderful kingdoms for hundreds of home buyers in South Texas. Chris Collins of RE/MAX Preferred has been the realtor selected by families that want to make that dream a reality. He'll provide the expertise and confidence to purchase the home that's your address for future happiness. Call Chris at RE/MAX Preferred 210-213-2432.
Back at Hero Stadium, where the Johnson Jaguars have struck again, as Justin Rodriguez goes 55 yards to cap off a 3-play 73-yard drive. 2:08 off the clock, making the score 31 Johnson Jags, 17 Reagan Rattlers.
Hey, a big night of anniversary in tennis is back in 1973. Billie Jean King beat Bobby Riggs in 3 straight sets in the Battle of the Sexes on the tennis court. Remember that? Wow.
Remember that Bobby Riggs had to defend the entire doubles court against her. She only had to defend the singles court.
Yeah, that's true.
And he was like, what, 10 years older than her?
Yeah, I think 12.
Here's the boot by Reed. Kenny as it goes down, and it's going to be a little short this time to the 2-yard line, and Akram is returning. He is to the 20. He's to the 25, and he is brought down at the 30-yard line, making that good return.
30-yard return.
Beautiful.
Scott Ankrum has that great speed when he turns it on, just like his dad did 30 years ago when he played for the John Jay Mustangs, the fastest kid in the city at that time. He was the anchor man at 4x100.
And I don't doubt it, because Staten's got some speed, so only if I could have seen his dad in action, I probably would have been a little speedster. So it'll be Ankrum on the left side with Milam on the right. Here's Staten as he takes the snap, and he looks to his right. He keeps, and he's going up the middle, and he is brought down with a hard hit by number 66.
I don't know.
Jonathan Tony.
That's a tough way to go with your quarterback who's had a bad arm. I don't know if I'd want to.
I don't know if I would want to do
pressure
that.
or not.
Roosevelt is now leading MacArthur 2016 in the fourth quarter. Steele is ahead of Judson 28-21 in the third quarter.
Wow.
Here's Staley with the handoff to Carson Green, and Carson Green has nowhere to go as that Johnson Jaguar defense just plows through.
Yep. Bottom of that stack coming out from his defensive position in the secondary is Dexter Wakefield. He was shaken up earlier, but he's all right now. He plays defense and tight end on offense. But that's the end of the third quarter. Our score: Johnson 31, Reagan 17. You're listening to Frost High School Football.
Coming home means a lot of things to a lot of people. It's a place where you can kick off your shoes or even kick it up a notch. As the #1 mortgage lender in Texas for credit unions, you can trust RBFCU when buying your new home. We'll be there for you every step of the way. So whether it's buying your first home or financing your forever home, you can count on us to make your dream come true. To apply online and for complete details, visit rbfcu.org. Some restrictions may apply. Loan subject to credit approval. RBFCU is an equal housing lender.
Back at Hero Stadium, where the Johnson Jags take a 31-17 lead into the fourth quarter. Some quick stats: total yards 320 for Johnson, 254 for Reagan, but they are driving to start the fourth quarter with the wind.
So it'll be third and about 7.
No.
3rd and 3.
Or 3rd and 3.
3rd and 3.
So it'll be Staley with the handoff to Carson Green, and he's got room, and he's up to the 50, and he's down to the 41-yard line in Johnson Jag territory. 22-yard run for the young freshman.
Boy, he's going to be a good one.
He's going to be a good one when he matures, because if he's already doing this while he's a freshman.
Hawthorne makes perhaps a saving tackle.
111 yards on 21 carries for Carson
Here's
Green.
the blitz. It's
Here's
on.
Staley, and he throws it up to Ankrum, and Ankrum's got room, and he's to the 5. He's in the end zone.
Man. Speed to burn, my friends.
He is definitely one of the fastest kids on the field right now, Gary DeLon.
Man.
41-yard pass play from Staley to Ankrum, as Staley was getting rushed in the backfield by, I think, 4 Johnson Jags.
He had a clear highway in front before he hit the gravel road, didn't he?
He did.
He paid the toll, and he said, I got 6.
I got 6.
So it'll be 31-24 if young Mr. Hernandez can hit this one.
And here's the boot, and it is up high, far, and good to make it 31-24 with the Johnson Jags still in the lead. 11 minutes, 27 seconds left in the 4th quarter. You listen to Frost High School football.
The most important team member isn't always playing in the game. Sometimes they hold a clipboard on the sideline. A good coach doesn't just call plays. They instill confidence in the individual and help the team overcome adversity. At Frost, we believe that good coaching in your financial life can accomplish the same thing. After all, if we believe in you and you believe in you, anything is possible. Frost. Opt for optimism.
Back at Hero Stadium, where the Johnson Jaguars lead 31-24 has just been cut to 1 score as the Reagan Rattlers go 4 plays, 69 yards, take 127 off the clock. A 41-yard pass from Travis Staley to Staten Ankrum makes the score 31-24 Johnson.
Let's go back into history and turn back the calendar just a wee bit. In 1973, on this date, Willie Mays says he's retiring at the end of the season. The Say Hey Kid. Great, great baseball player for the New York Giants.
He was a great baseball player. So it'll be the kick, and here is the boot. And it is going to go down to about the 4-yard line as caught by Shane Johnson. He's up to the 20. He's up to the 25. And he is down at 30 with a flag on the play.
He thought he had the World Speedway curve ahead of him, but something happened in the pits.
I wonder what that could be, Gary DeLon.
I think it's going to be an illegal block at first, or a hold. Flag is down at the 30, and they'll walk it back. Block in the back. Oh, that's a killer. You're to 30, you're going back to the 20.
So that'll still put him in that territory where, you know, you do not want to be.
That's just the 3rd penalty, though, for 30 yards. So, you know, it's been a very well-played game looking at it from a mental standpoint.
Definitely has been a very well-played game, and they're, you know, I would expect that because they've had 3 games before this, so they know what to do. They know what they're going to do on all cylinders. Here's Ty Reasoner with the handoff to Rodriguez as he makes that move, and he lowers his shoulders and gets up to the 31-yard line, making that a 1st down carry.
He's just like a bowling ball, and he's always on the 10 pin. Boy, he is fast and strong for a little guy. 178 pounds, 5'8". He's got tremendous leg drive.
He's got the moves too, Gary DeLon.
That's true. That's very true. He gets some great blocking.
So here's Reasoner putting the man in motion. Now it'll be trip set left, and Rodriguez with the handoff. And he tried to do a little spin move and got the gain of 1, but he had nowhere to go as that Reagan Rattler.
Well, it was I'm not sure if Ty was trying to hand off and pulled it back, or it wasn't really in the possession of Rodriguez too much.
So that'll make it 2nd and 9 for the Johnson Jags as Randall goes out wide left and Shane Johnson on the right.
Shane's had a bad night so far, though.
Yes, he has. And as there's a man in motion, and he's going to go right on back to the left side. Here's Reasoner with the handoff to Rodriguez, and Rodriguez has a little bit of space, and he makes some moves.
There he goes. He's gone.
And he's going to be almost chased down. He's to the 20. He's down to the 10, and he is finally brought down by his ankle at the 6-yard line. 62-yard
run. My goodness. And
bringing him down was number 5 for the Reagan Rattlers, and that is Lamarck Patterson.
Well, he had to go to Lamarck and through Galveston to even stop him on that play. My goodness.
209 yards on 22 attempts.
They called for a taxi, but had to settle for a via bus ride on that play.
So
and he had Uber drivers waiting, let me tell you.
Takes the snap, and he hands it off to Rodriguez. Rodriguez trying to go to his right, and he is going to rush in, and he's going to try to get in the end zone. He's got it.
Oh, my goodness. We just said the leg drive was unbelievable.
And I mentioned that all game, and I mentioned that in the first game, too. His leg drive is uncomparable to any other tailback.
His leg drive, his legs are more important than those of Angie Dickinson, let me tell you.
That'll be a 6-yard run for old Rodriguez as he puts it in.
He is one determined youngster.
He definitely is, to make it 37-24 with 9 minutes, 27 seconds left on the clock.
He's playing for the Jaguars, but right there he was the Lion King.
Here's the PAT, and it is up high, far, and good, making it 38-24. 9 minutes, 27 seconds left in the fourth quarter. You're
tremendous ball game.
High school football.
The most important team member isn't always playing in the game. Sometimes they hold a clipboard on the sideline. A good coach doesn't just call plays. They instill confidence in the individual and help the team overcome adversity. At Frost, we believe that good coaching in your financial life can accomplish the same thing. After all, if we believe in you and you believe in you, anything is possible. Frost. Opt for optimism.
Back at Hero Stadium, where Johnson has got on the board again. 2 minutes and 21 seconds is all it took for Justin Rodriguez to go 80 yards. Every one of those plays was a handoff to Rodriguez. 4 plays, culminating with a 6-yard touchdown run to
How
make
many yards does he have now?
Johnson, 38. Reagan, 24, 225 yards.
Well, it was on this date. In 1981, when Marcus Allen of USC, he rushed for 276 yards in a 21-0 win over Indiana. Mr. Rodriguez is nearing the Marcus Allen type of tally.
And here's the boot by Kenny as it is kicked into the wind, and it is only going to go down to about the 18-yard line. And what a hit on... I think that's number 46.
I thought it was, well, the guy carrying the ball was Luke Hoggett.
Well, I'm talking about the guy that made the hit. Who made the hit? 46. You have the sheet. I don't. And that'll be Anthony Zuniga. That was a massive hit, and he's a junior.
That was a 76 or 46?
46.
And
I don't either. Trip set right. Here's Staley dropping back to pass as he looks to his right, and he's going to be sacked in that pocket as he gets rushed by those Jaguars. Lost 3 for old Staley. The Reagan Rattlers are going to have to do something about that defensive line and those linebackers getting in there on that rush. Maybe pull the offensive
you can see
line
momentum changing just a little bit now. It's a 14-point lead.
So it'll be double wide out set right, single receiver on the left. That's Anchor. Here's Staley dropping back to pass as he looks to his right again. He's got a man, he's going to go deep, and he's got a man open, and that is caught. Oh, it's dropped. That was Carter Campbell on the intended receiver, but he just couldn't hang on to it. But he had a lot of space.
He zigged when he should have zagged. My goodness, that may have been about a 70-yard touchdown pass and go.
That was looking like it, Gary DeLong, because no one was even close to covering him. So that'll be
3rd down now and still 12.
3rd and 12. Trip set right, single receiver on the left. That's Ankrum. Here's Staley, dropping back to pass, looking to his right again. Now he rolls to his left, and he's going to keep the ball. He's going to try to get to that end zone, and he takes a hit.
Short of the 1st down.
But that'll be short. And I think they're going to bring out the punt team. Or maybe they're going to go for it.
No, they won't go for it with 2 yards to go, this deep in their own end of the field. That's true. That's very true. It may be better to. Can you say do-overs?
It looks like they're going to go for it. They got 10 seconds left on the play clock.
Yeah.
It'll be trip set right with the single receiver on the left. Here's Staley as he takes the snap. He's rolling to his right. He's got a man, and it's Milam, and it is caught for the 1st down.
He gets 6 yards.
That is a clutch play.
He made a dive for it.
He did make a dive for it, and he's got great hands as a receiver, and he goes off to the sideline.
And coming in is Jaguar Edwards.
Final
7
score,
minutes.
Alamo Heights 58, Kennedy 0. Final.
Alamo Heights wins their first of the season tonight. They've got 2 players in the top 10 receiving.
7 minutes, 26 seconds left on the clock. Here, Staley dropping back to pass. He's getting rushed. He gets a little screen pass, and he has got a man, and that's Cho. And he gets up to the 42-yard line, so that'll make it 2nd and 6.
And give credit to a guy that probably made that successful, was a big lineman, Zenon Rudnick. Number 73, he was leading the charge, and it was just a great play blocking-wise.
So it's going to be a double wideout set right with the Ankrum on the left. Here's Staley dropping back to pass as he looks to the right and now to the middle, and he's got a man.
Another great catch.
And that is a great catch with Willie Branch on the defensive side of the ball, applying great pressure.
Zane Raba is a senior. And that is a tremendous gain of about, 40 yards? 30 yards. And it's at the 28-yard line in Johnson territory.
Here's Staley dropping back to pass. He's looking to his right. He's got Ankrum on that route. And Ankrum's going to get there, and he's
touchdown
into the end zone.
My goodness gracious. Staten Ankrum pulls a page from his daddy's history. That great outside speed. Nobody was near him.
And he just did that little wheel route, and he lost that cornerback easily.
Staley gets the pass to Ankrum for the 2nd time tonight. Wow, 38-30 with the PAT yet to come.
As we await the PAT. Here's the snap and the boot, and it is up high far, and it is good to make it 31-38 with Johnson in the lead. 6 minutes, 19 seconds left in the 4th quarter. You're listening to Frost High School football.
While some banks are slow to approve auto loans, RBFCU is hitting the gas. With one of San Antonio's lowest loan rates and fast online approval, you'll have more time and money to live life your way. Apply today at rbfcu.org. Subject to credit approval, rates and terms subject to change. Other restrictions may apply. Better rates. It's what we do at RBFCU.
Maybe he's a little rusty, but he's able to take care of it. Back at Hero Stadium, where Travis Staley has hooked up for the 2nd touchdown of the night to Staten Ankrum, this time from 28 yards out. A 7-play, 75-yard drive, 2:54 off the clock. Reagan cuts the lead in half, and it's now Johnson 38, the Reagan Rattlers 31.
Attendance tonight, paid attendance, 8,401 with probably another 500 or 600 freebies. So you're talking about almost 9,000 people on hand for this Friday night fandango. A great football game here at Hero Stadium.
So it'll be the Reagan Rattlers to kick off the ball, as the Johnson Jags will have to run down the clock and eat the time and maybe try to put in another score just to secure.
I think they're going to play a very conservative game, although you don't know with that kind of speed. Yep, that's right. It was on this night in 1987, Walter Payton scored his 107th touchdown, breaking the record held by Jim Brown.
And here's the boot, and it goes out of bounds into the end zone.
Sweetness, they called him, and boy, was he a sweet runner. Hall of Famer. Walter Payton, sugar.
Sugar.
And sweetness. Boy, he could play. The Brian Piccolo story, remember that? He was best friends to Walter Payton. Brian's song, they called it.
So that'll be 1st and 10 for the Jags with the double wideout set left and a single receiver on the right. Here's Reasoner. And he puts a man in motion and he hands it off to Justin Rodriguez. Justin Rodriguez putting in that speed, and he is knocked down at the 31-yard line.
A gain of 6 yards, and the guy tried to stay with him and just couldn't match him step for step with Jacob Bullock again, Sandra's cousin. So he gained 6.
Roosevelt leads MacArthur 27-16 in the fourth quarter.
So the Riders are back in the saddle again tonight.
Making headway on the MacArthur Brahmans. And here's Reasoner with the keep as he fake handoff to Rodriguez, and he's got the first down and more.
Up to the 40. Give him 6 or 7.
It's just unstoppable when you have Reasoner and Rodriguez in the backfield that can both run, that are both a threat, that both have 4 or 5 speeds on the 40-yard dash.
This is really an offensive display tonight. I mean, it's fantastic to see the combination. Ankrum on the receiving end of... Yeah.
Justin Rodriguez is just plowing through.
5 minutes to play.
Here's Reasoner putting the man in motion. As he takes a snap and he hands it off to Rodriguez, and Rodriguez puts bullets through that line.
There goes the John Deere tractor into the South 40 one more time. He plowed up the ground, didn't he?
He did with that John Deere tractor. I like that one. You need to keep that one. I like it. It happens.
Or it could be arsenic and old lace.
I didn't know we were on RFD TV.
It looked like Saturday Night Live, doesn't it?
For real. 4 minutes, 16 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
2nd and 4. 4:16 to play. We'll keep it right here. We hope you've enjoyed this game on the internet as much as we've enjoyed bringing it to you. And I'll tell you a little secret. I'll go ahead and reveal it. We decided this year to try a different aspect of our broadcast. And so we decided to put it on the internet. And we go to Facebook and then GDP Sports, which has been designed by Rob Hicks. And I think it's working. I don't know how many people are listening, but I know we had a call from Steve Fanning in Hawaii a couple of weeks ago. He was listening. My son Shannon was listening to his nephew.
I was in Atlanta that 1 week listening to it, and I think we've got over 300 likes on the page, and it's just going to get
well over 500 now.
Well over 500 likes
tonight.
Now, so,
oh my goodness! Yep. We love you out there. Send your dollar to Gary.
So it'll be 2nd and 3 as Comalander goes in motion. Here's Reasoner takes a snap, and he hands off to Rodriguez, and Rodriguez just plows Drew once again with that John Deere tractor.
The blitz was on. Let me tell you, Chase, the blitz was on. Here came the blitzing linebacker, and he missed him. He went after the quarterback. That was Darius Taylor, your lineman, and he went after the quarterback and got him, but the ball had already been handed off to Mr. Rodriguez.
I saw.
Rodriguez just bulldozed one of the Reagan defenders to lean forward at the end of that run,
No, he John Deered him.
Here's Comelander in motion once again, and here's Reasoner, takes the snap, and he hands it off to Rodriguez, and now the Reagan Rattler defense finally catches on to Rodriguez. But
Well, there are about 4 snakes trying to stop him with the hustling tackle, and he didn't gain anything.
Rodriguez, 27 carries, 244, 2 touchdowns.
Wow. That's a career for a lot of backs.
it looks as if Comelander is cramping up on the sideline as he runs off the field. So it'll be Jared Randall coming out wide right and Shane Johnson on the left. Here's a man in motion as he goes back to his original spot, and here's Reasoner, takes a snap. He's dropping back to pass. He's looking. He's got a man open, and it's caught, and it is going to be out of bounds.
Sanders. It's Sanders.
Darius Sanders. I'm sorry, Kateris Sanders. He is a 6'1", 205 senior.
Steele leads Judson 41-37.
So it'll be first
No.
and 10. First and 10 on the 39-yard line. Jan Randall going out wide right. Shane Johnson on the left. Here's the snap by Reasoner, and he hands it off to Rodriguez, and he is brought down immediately.
Timeout,
about
Reagan.
1 yard.
Blake Plant again made the stop, but right now it's nervous time. 2:47 to go, and now we see more of the taillights flickering as they head for Wurzbach Parkway and streets unnamed.
The Johnson Jag audience is all staying with a little bit leaving, but the Reagan
I wouldn't
Rattlers
leave a game
side
like this. You couldn't give me
all
$50 to leave.
This
Tremendous
is a good game.
volume. It was on this date in 1993. John Carney kicked 6 field goals to extend his streak to kicking a field goal in 29 straight games. Pretty great foot for that young man those years ago. And in 1998 on this date, Cal Ripken ended his record career of playing in 2,632 games since May of 1982.
Wow.
He didn't miss a game in over 16 years.
That's great. Trip set right with Shane Johnson,
Second and 9.
Comelander, and Randall all on one side. Here's Comelander in motion. And going back to his original spot. Here's Reasoner taking the snap, and he hands it out to Rodriguez, trying to eat that clock down.
Gain of 1, timeout Reagan.
Reagan's just going to burn through their timeouts here.
3rd and 7. Or 3rd and 8, actually. 2:43 to go. Is this 2-down territory or not? Because you're kicking against the wind if you try to field goal. I don't know if they'd want to try it.
I don't know if they would try a field goal this far out. That would make it a 47.
But this is a big play for that Reagan defense. You've got to make a stop here to have any chance of getting the ball back.
Hey, naughty. 1972. Police found cannabis growing on the farm owned by Paul and Linda McCartney. How about that?
They were just 30 years early because it's legal now.
They could be selling it now.
That's nothing now.
And the Beatles appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show for the first time in 1964 on this date. And it's a birthday for Boston Celtics coach Red Auerbach, who was born in 1917, died in 2006. 93 years old.
So it'll be 3rd and 7. Double wide out set right. single receiver on the left. This is a big play
Oh,
for the
yeah.
Johnson Jags, and this is a big play for the Reagan Rattlers. Comelander in motion. Here's Reasoner as he hands it off to Rodriguez, and Rodriguez is going to go to that right. He's going to dive.
He's a yard short.
He's a yard short as he tries to get that extra yard.
A yard short. Actually, it's even less than a yard.
Gain of 5. Last time out by Reagan.
Fourth and about 28 inches.
A long one. Yeah.
My goodness. This is the game right here for the Reagan Rattlers.
This is the
And do you know
point.
what? I don't think I've seen him under center at all tonight.
No.
Ty Reasoner has not been under center. This might be a time to go under center.
Well, it just, you on that third down play, you run Rodriguez. If he doesn't get close to the first down, you don't have a decision here. You just punt it away. But that just makes it. He got so close that now you've got an opportunity to punch it in, get the first down, and end this game because Reagan's out of timeouts.
If you get a first down, it's a game.
Yeah.
If you don't, with Ankrum speed, you got to be careful. He's already got 2 long touchdown bombs.
I don't know. Do you hand it to Rodriguez or do you fake it to him and go on the outside?
I don't think they really know right here. They seem to be a little bit confused.
Just a little bit. Here's Randall in motion as he goes back to his original spot, and here's the handoff, and
he got it.
He got it.
No, I don't think he did. Depends on who's.
Well,
they're saying he got it.
He got it. He's about.
He leaned forward and kept his legs going and got that first down on fourth down.
It is. That's the game right there.
That's it.
Final score from Comelander Stadium. Roosevelt defeats MacArthur 27-16.
Well, the Brahmas put up a good battle against the Rough Riders. One of the young managers is running up and down the field on the near side for Johnson.
Yes, he is.
He's excited.
It's a good sight to see.
Reagan cannot stop the clock.
Well, they're going to just give it to Rod.
Yep. Or they try to strip that ball now.
He's got a built-in radar in his helmet.
Yeah, he definitely
He
does.
stutter-stepped and then moved the other way and gained about a yard or 2. Gained 2 yards. And he had 3 guys staring him in the eyeballs. 1:50 to go. This game, as Arnold Schwarzenegger would say, it's over.
It's over.
33 attempts, 269 on the ground.
My goodness.
2 touchdowns for Rodriguez.
The player of the week right here, friends.
Definitely the player of the week.
Have we got a final judging score yet? Still in play.
There's Comelander in motion.
They haven't tossed a Comelander yet tonight. This is Ty Reasoner, and Ty Reasoner gets to the 20. And he's going to be a yard and a half short.
Got a flag down.
You're down to 123, my friends. What a ball game. 38-31.
Holding on Johnson.
Now that's another penalty against the Jags. Plus there's a lot of tired youngsters out there right now.
4th penalty for 40 yards.
4 penalties, 40 yards. That's a nice gesture. Mario Jimenez, the 6'2", 225-pound offensive lineman, picked up the referee's flag and handed it to him.
The penalty was declined.
Declined, yeah.
3rd down. 3rd and 2.